Thank you very much. You may please take your seats. The representative of the Acting Director General of the National Pensions Commission, the representative of the Chief Commissioner for the Public Complaints Commission, heads of the other government departments and agencies here present, my lords spiritual and temporal, our traditional rulers and other red cap chiefs here present, the Executive Secretary and our host for today, President of the National Union of Pensioners, us for serving Nigeria well, and to say that we celebrate you as pensioners. We celebrate you for the great work you did working for this nation, and we thank you for also making our job a little easier by coming promptly and providing information. We appreciate you for your knowledge, your long accumulated knowledge, experience, and wisdom. We celebrate you for your contribution to society, even though we are faced today with a new generation of children who truly need elders in their lives. We appreciate you because you have shown us what it is to succeed in life and to have a happy old age, because we also want to grow old. So once again, I say welcome and thank you for serving this country well. Let's clap for them, please, and ourselves. We begin very quickly today because we want to run through our program and we hope we can finish in record time. Our first program will be an opening remark. It will be coming from the heart of a woman who has served this country well and who knows pension as her first child. And all pensioners believe in her and work with her. Let's welcome the Executive Secretary of Ptad, Madam Sharon Ikeazo, as she delivers for us the opening remarks for today. She will tell us why we are here and set the ball rolling about what we are doing today. Let's clap a little more for her, please.
Dalono for coming. My dear esteemed pensioners, I'm so happy to be here today. I made a pledge that we'll be interacting with you and bringing our services closer to you every day. This is not a one-off event. We shall be doing it quarterly, whereby we sit down with you and we interact. You tell us your complaints. We brief you on what we have done so far. So today is not a day for long speeches. We would rather hear from you than you hearing from us. You are aware of the processes Ptad has begun, and we shall continue to do everything in our powers to make sure that you live out the rest of your lives in dignity as you have served this nation. Our national anthem says, the heroes of our labors past. The labors of our heroes past shall never be in vain. That is the essence of Ptad. Your labors shall never be in vain. It is the greatest injustice. To me, it is the greatest injustice that a worker would work and not receive his wages. The worst sin of it all is that a pensioner will not receive his pensions. So the current administration has been paying pensions up to date, and you can attest to this, but we do have arrears that we are clearing. No pensioner under this current administration, under the federal government pensions, will be paid his pensioners. I am standing here as well and appealing to state governors, please pay your own part of the pension because the federal government is meeting its own part of the pension. We are saving state pensioners by paying our own federal share. So dear governors, please pay your own part. You are not doing pensioners a favor. It is their due. It is their right. On that note, let me go briefly to what had been written down for me. I am very passionate about my job. If I speak outside of this text, I'll probably start a revolution. Because my job is my mission in life, to fight any injustice by any government against its citizens. And I take my elders, my mothers, my fathers, who laid the foundation that we're standing on today. The civil service pension that we work under, majority of you here are the ones that built it to what it is today. You take the police, they protected us. That's why I am glad that Ptad has been able to pay the pensions of the war-affected police officers. And we shall continue to clear the claims as they come forward with their documentations. In the past 8 months, our focus has been on adding genuine pensioners on the payroll. You recall that in 2015, Ptad carried out civil service pension verification in the Southeast. I came into office October 6, 2016, only to find out that those who were verified in 2015 had not been payrolled. But I'm glad to say that today, majority of them, if not all of them, have been payrolled. Am I correct? Thank you. Verification is key in verifying genuine pensioners and working out government's liabilities to paying pensions. But after verifications, pensioners ought to receive their pensions in due time, as short a time as possible. The presentation that our directors of the 4 pension departments will make, this will put you through the processes we go through in verification and after verification to payroll. It's a long process. We have to be very thorough so that no one is underpaid or overpaid. So please bear with us when payments do not come immediately after verification. But we are working our processes to shorten it to at least a minimum of 4 to 6 months after verification for payments. So under the Civil Service Pension Department, we have ensured payment of over 14 billion to over 99,000 civil service pensioners. This includes pensions and gratuities, as well as payments to retired federal permanent secretaries and heads of service under the defined benefit scheme. Also, upon the completion of verification exercise for the civil service pension scheme, over 19,000 pensioners who have over the years been denied their pensions were placed back on payroll, and their pension arrears have been paid. The computation of some of the verified pensioners in other zones are still ongoing because a lot of pensioners do not come with complete documentation. We will put you through this process as well for completion of documentation for verifications. Then under the Parastatals Pension Department, we have not concluded the verification. We have over 250 federal government agencies, universities, medical centers under the Parastatals Pension Department. But I'm glad to say that we have successfully computed and payrolled a total of 3,530 pensioners from the defunct Delta Steel Company. This is coming 13 years after privatization. So this has brought to an end the long wait experienced by those workers. It was heartbreaking when I went to Alaja on my assumption of duty to see aged men and women. Some had gone blind. They could not buy eye drops for their glaucoma because they were not paid. But I'm glad to say today, Ptad has payrolled 3,530 pensioners of Delta Steel. Then also 284 pensioners from Nigerian Reinsurance Corporation have been added to the payroll. This comes 16 years after Nigeria Reinsurance was privatized. Then also we have verified NITEL, and I'm glad to say that NITEL pensioners will start receiving their pensions at the end of October this month. Nikon Insurance as well. We have payroll they started receiving this September. So on the whole, we have 228,000 pensioners on our payroll. Government is bearing a huge burden, but government has to pay all its pensioners. Then we come to the issue of the 33% arrears, which has been long-standing. This we incurred from past administrations, but government is a continuum. As of today, Civil Service Pension Department has 12 months outstanding out of the 30 months that had been owed them. It's only 12 months we're owing the Civil Service Pension Departments. We made a payment of 6 months in November 2017. And we hope to conclude the payment of 33% arrears to the Civil Service Pension Department before the end and close of 2018. And we're glad to say that the Customs, Immigration and Prison Service Department, we do not owe any 33% arrears. This has been cleared. And I'm also glad to announce that for the Police Pension Department, we completed and cleared their 33% arrears. I know some of our pensioners were not happy when we did the police one, but to us, the security agencies, we have to prioritize them. That is why the money we had to clear the police first, and we will clear the Civil Service Pension Department. Parastatals pensions, we're owing 24 months outstanding, but this varies from sector to sector. This also we're working to clear. Before the end of the year, we'll be able to pay at least, if not 1 year, to be able to pay at least 6 months. As money is being released to us, we prioritize, spread it, and we pay off as much as we can. Then we've also had delays. Apart from the good news, we also accept our faults as well. We've had delays in pension payments. When we put you through our payment process, you'll understand as well that Ptad does not own or operate any commercial bank account. Ptad is 100% TSA compliant. So it's until money is released to us from the Treasury that we are able to make monthly pension payments. But our monthly pension payment cycle, our payroll is always ready by the 15th of every month. As we go back tomorrow now, the payroll for October is being prepared. By the 15th, it has been finalized with sign-off. Once money is released by the Accountant General of the Federation, the monies hit your account. It goes directly from our TSA account in the CBN into your account, and you get your alerts. And that's why they say Ptad is a melody. The sound of that alert is a melody. And may this melody never cease. Also, another issue that has been bedeviling us, Ptad was actually set up to clear the maladministration of the past. And I stand before you to say that Ptad, with PENCOM regulating Ptad, we have been able to tackle the issue of maladministration and denial of pension to our pensioners. But we still have a few fraudsters who make calls to our pensioners, bearing in mind that we inherited majority of your payrolls from the old pension officers that were administering your pensions. So most of these fraudsters still have your contacts. You all receive calls telling you, oh, bring this certain amount of money and we'll pay you. Please note that no Ptad staff would ever call you asking for payment to process your pensions. We have zero tolerance for fraud in Ptad. As I came into Ptad, I set up the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, ACTU, in conjunction with ICPC. And I want to let you know one of those fraudsters who had been calling you was actually a federal auditor Resident in Ptad. In Ptad, we have a federal auditor's resident who audits all the computations we do. We handed him over to the EFCC for prosecution. And anyone will make sure we bring down the full weight of the law on the person. How much are the pensions we pay you that a serving civil servant will want to defraud you of that pension? It's intolerable, and we will not tolerate it in Ptad. So please, any call you get, call us in Ptad. My lines are open. Majority of you have my phone numbers. Please let us know in Ptad. We have our actual numbers in the folders we gave you. We have our anti-fraud alerts there. The numbers are there. The email addresses are there. Please report such cases to us, because without reporting, we will not be able to bring closure to most of these cases. Then let me go to our future plans. One thing that had been on my mind for a while is the issue of National Health Insurance Scheme. I was appalled when I came into Ptad with interacting with pensioners. I understood that once your job is done in the federal civil service, that's the end of your national health insurance. When do you need health insurance most? Is as you are aging and you're unable to earn as you were earning before. If you were getting your pensions as 100% of what you were earning, fine, but you are not. So we have gone into talks with the Ministry of Health and the National Health Insurance Scheme to see how we can enroll our pensioners under the health insurance scheme. We're hoping this will come to fruition, and we were gladdened when we heard that the National Youth Service Corps members have been enrolled under the health insurance scheme. So these are one of our plans that we are working on, and we hope that majority of you here today will benefit from that. So I want to assure you again that as our senior citizens, Nigeria owes you a huge, huge debt of gratitude for the dedication and sacrifice that you have made while in service to our dear country, Nigeria. And as I said earlier, it is my conviction that all pensioners should be able to live out the remainder of their lives in dignity and in good health. And Ptad will keep on treating you with dignity and empathy in resolving your pension issues and making sure you get your prompt payment. So please make use of the question and answer session so that you can ask questions that are on your mind that are not clear, so you can get clarity from the 4 pension department deputy directors who are present here today to take your questions. And I know we have some union members who are here as well. And to the union members, I appeal to you, please let us know when we have cases of deceased pensioners. Government is still losing a lot of money by paying into accounts of long deceased pensioners. The family keep on collecting with the ATM, and we do not know. Until the ATM expires, they now go to the bank to close the account. That is when Ptad finds out. So another technology we need to deploy is the I'm Alive technology, so that even our pensioners don't need to come out for incessant verifications. You can stay in the comfort of your home. Everyone has a mobile phone, and we now use that every 3 or 6 months to now verify, oh, I am still here, so that your pension payments will be going in. But at the same time, we must protect government's treasury as well, so that we do not keep on draining it by paying to long deceased pensioners or pensioners who do not qualify for pension payments. And before I close this remark, I would like to comment that in March of this year, we dropped off 24,000 pensioners from the civil service payroll. This was due to the fact that we had started verification for the civil service department since 2015, and a lot of the 24,000 we dropped off did not come forward. But as they're coming forward now, we are verifying and putting them right back on the payroll. So if you know any of your friends who has been taken off the payroll, today is an opportunity for them to get back on that payroll. We have a complaints desk situated in the block next to this hall where they can go in with their documentation and get that corrected. And we also have an office here in ENUGU State. We have now deployed one of our staff, who is a very hard-working lady for our mobile verifications, Angela Moye, to start running the ENUGU office. It's going to be very functional. There's no need for our pensioners coming all the way to Abuja. We have to decentralize what we're doing. And for those from my home state, Amadide, I'm glad to announce that Anambra State Government has given us an office in Anambra to open Ptad. Because to save government money, what we do is that we ask our state governments to give us offices, so that all we do is to furnish it and man it. So thank you for coming today. I'm so glad I am amongst you, and I hope we'll do this very often. Thank you very much.
I think she deserves a standing ovation. Please put your hands together properly for her. There is no time she speaks to us that there is nothing new to hear. Thank you very much, ma'am. She does every day something new to share with us. Well, we'll quickly run through this, and the next will be, we'll just take 2 goodwill messages, and then we'll go ahead to take our presentations. But before we go into that, I also want to remind you that your question sheets, if you have filled them out, can you just raise them so that our staff will just collect them from you if you know you have written your questions already. We'll take the complaints form later, but questions, that's what we need now. If you have filled them out, just raise them and our staff will come over. Just raise them up. Our staffs will come over and collect them from you. The question forms. Okay, that's a different kind of complaint. Maybe you tell our staff also they'll give you a form if you don't have a question form already. But for those who have and have filled them out, just pass them on to our staff. Thank you. I hope everybody has something. Yes, okay. People are already. If you don't have a question form, our staff are already passing them to you. All right, thank you. So we'll move on because of time, because we want to focus a lot, concentrate more on your questions and have them answered before we leave. But we'll be taking first the goodwill message, and this is coming in from the Acting Director General of the National Pension Commission. We have our sound people. Can we just look at our microphones, please, and turn them off if they are not in use? Thank you. All right. Representing the Acting Director General for the National Pension Commission is Mr. Michael Ejiofor of the Compliance and Enforcement Department of the National Pensions Commission. Please put your hands together for him. Can we clap for him a little more? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Executive Secretary, Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, the Commissioner, Public Complaint Commission, NUP President, and our most senior citizens here. My name is Mr. Michael Ejiofor of the Compliance and Enforcement Department. I'm here to represent the Acting Director General of National Pensions Commission, Aisha Omarud, and who has this forum so much in her heart, and unfortunately is unavoidably absent. So this is a keynote address by Mrs. Aisha Dahiru Maro, the Acting Director General, National Pension Commission, at the annual interactive session with stakeholders in ENUGU State with the theme, Putting the Pensioners First, organized by the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, Ptad. Distinguished pensioners, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to deliver a keynote address on behalf of the National Pension Commission at this yearly interactive session for pensioners and stakeholders with the theme, Putting Pensioners First. I would like to congratulate the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, Ptad, for successfully organizing this year's event. I'm also delighted that Ptad is holding the forum in ENUGU, the old capital city of eastern Nigeria. The Commission is satisfied with the progress made by Ptad towards developing comprehensive and credible database for all pensioners under the Defined Benefit Scheme, DBS. I am aware that Ptad had completed the enrollment of verified pensioners of customs, immigration, and prison pension department, civil service pension department, and police pension department, who were hitherto not on the pension payroll. I am also aware that the Directorate is working to address the pensioners' complaints, such as short payments and non-payment of gratuities. Furthermore, I have noted that Ptad had completed verification exercise for the pensioners of some parastatals under the Parastatals Pension Department, PAPD. The Commission will continue to work with Ptad to ensure that all the pensioners under the Defined Benefit Scheme of Treasury-funded parastatals are verified. On the issue of annual verification of pensioners across the 4 pension departments, in line with the provisions of the PRA 2014, the Commission will continue to engage and assist Ptad to make it a reality. The Commission is aware that funding is a major challenge for Ptad, and that the Directorate is taking actions towards developing a funding plan that will ensure regular funding. Distinguished participants, I would want to conclude this address by reminding ourselves that the modest achievements recorded by Ptad in the administration of the Defined Benefits Scheme, DBS, will not have been possible without the support of all the stakeholders, especially you, the pensioners. I would like to encourage the Directorate to sustain this forum. I wish you a very fruitful deliberation. Thank you all. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Please let's clap for him a little more. We thank PENCOM for their support and partnership, and for always being there for us. Somebody asked me there that I should celebrate all former teachers. We just did World Teachers Day recently. Please, can we clap for all people who are taught? Teachers, thank you. Many of you I know are teachers, and we just did that. I had asked somebody recently, and he said, NOK. You know, teachers have a way of abbreviating. I said, what is NOK? He said, it's nest of kin. I said, okay. But he gave a simple definition. He was asking, and I told him that a nest of kin is an individual chosen by a principal to inherit his or her entitlement in the event of his or her death. And he said, did you say principal? I said, yes. He said, what about headmaster? I'm sure we should include or change the principal because it has a problem somewhere. You know, but we'll get to that. We're still taking goodwill messages, and the next one is coming from someone who takes complaints and takes them very seriously. We have the representative of the High Chief Commissioner for Public Complaints Commission. Is represented here by our own Commissioner from ENUGU State, Honorable Prince Chidi Ekwe. Please put your hands together for him as he comes up. Are we clapping for him at all? He's our own, eh? Thank you, sir. All right.
Good day, our dear fathers and mothers who have served this country meritoriously and all aging very well in good health and strength. Cha Igbo kwenu, rienu, zuano, komu anyị zụ anyị n'aha Jesus. A welcome address by Honorable Barrister Chili Ibawa, Honorable Chief Commissioner, Public Complaint Commission, at the 28th Southeast Zone Stakeholders Forum, organized by Pension Transition Arrangement Directorate, Ptad, held at ENUGU on this day, 8th October 2018. Please, may I observe every protocol. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the 28th Southeast Zonal Stakeholders Forum, organized by Ptad. I wish to commend Ptad for taking this initiative, which know that will go a long way easing the stress the pensioners who are senior citizens has always gone through. Let me state here that I am at Lagos for the Southwest Zonal Forum, and I was impressed by the quality of interaction and the resultant sensitization. Madam, you are truly doing very fine. From the experience of the Commission, the old pension system was characterized by the following problems: inadequate funding, inadequate political control of the public sector pension, payment of the fault of the federal and state government, flaws in pension records and disbursement, as well as the tiredness in pension distribution. Unfortunately, some of these problems still persist as we speak today. The Public Complaint Commission is vested with wide powers to inquire into the complaints by the members of the public concerning the administrative actions of any authority or companies or their officials or other matters that might arise. Among the various types of complaint the Commission handles are delays, underpayment, unjustified stoppage, backlog of arrears, reduction in federal shares and non-payment of pension, debt benefits and gratuity in both public and private sector. I want to bring your attention here that Nigerian Ombudsman, the Public Complaint Commission, which had been established since 1975 during the Udoji regime, have been there for all of us to enjoy the services. There will never be a time you will run to the Public Complaint Commission in the 36 states of this country and Abuja, and you will not be attended to. This is the only foremost anti-graft agency in this country, and who have been up to date in giving service delivery to our good people of this country. The Commission has, over the years, been in collaboration with Ptad. We have involved in most of its activities, especially in the areas of pension verification exercise in various locations. Furthermore, we have related intensely on the pension-related complaints with Ptad for investigation and redress. Recently, the Executive Secretary of Ptad and I met to explore and deliberate on other areas of collaborations with the aim of improving the pension sector and giving succor to our senior citizens. It is gratifying for me to report here that since 2015, Public Complaint Commission has worked harmoniously with Ptad, and the result of it that by June 2018, the Commission has successfully concluded and closed over 1,000 pension complaints at our headquarters in Abuja. So often, our senior citizens, our fathers and mothers, they run to the commission. And we're glad to say here today that the year 2015, we have been able to close successfully over 1,000 cases regarding your complaints. And those who brought these complaints went home smiling. This is also an indication that Ptad is working. I found a good testimony of Ptad efficiency in national newspapers column on pension. That was on the 3rd of October 2018. The column presents inquiries by a number of pensioners on the state and their pensions, and the responses of Ptad reflected on efficient system. This method of feedback goes a long way in educating, enlightening, and building and the confidence of the pensioners on Ptad. This is quite commendable. Madam, I say again, keep it up. I am also confident that situation can only get better because at my last interaction with the Executive Secretary, we agreed on further and better templates for dealing with pensioners' issues, including deployment of Ptad zonal offices at the disposal of the PCC state offices. I will, at this juncture, enjoy all honorable commissioners of Public Complaint Commission in all the states and Abuja to take advantage of the zonal offices of Ptad. Towards improving services to a pensioner, the Commission is proposing to embark on systematic investigation and review of pension sector with particular reference to the Direct Benefit Scheme, DBS. This would involve the Commission undertaking an in-depth research and holding an open forum with all the stakeholders in pension sector. Finally, let me once again commend Ptad for the wonderful initiative of Stakeholders Forum as I welcome you all and wish you a fruitful deliberations. Thanks and God bless.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for him. The beautiful thing about living up to 90 and 102 was told by one woman who was being interviewed. The journalist simply asked her, say, what is that beautiful thing about staying up to 102 years? And she simply looked at him and said, I don't have peer pressure. I'm all by myself. No age grade meeting, nothing. But it's beautiful to live old and to move on. Thank you. We'll quickly go on to the next, of course, will be this special one. Is by one man who served well in his position, who served also Nigeria well, and is still serving as father, as community leader, and as a leader among pensioners. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a goodwill message on behalf of the President of the National Union of Pensioners, Dr. Abel Afolayan. This message will be delivered by High Chief Emeka Onwumere, JP. Please put your hands together for him. High Chief Doctor, please. That doctor is very important. Please put your hands together for him. Okay, would you want to speak down, or you can come up? Okay. All right. Please, let's clap for him. Yes, at his age, is still very elegant, very confident, very composed. He has served Nigeria in very many capacities, and today he's still serving the people. Please, let's clap for him.
Bless you, my son. Thank you. Cha Igbo mekano. Akwandi Igbo kayo. Igbo mekano. Igbo rienu. Mono. Zono. Bano. Kano. Karono. Oyisi, my national president, comrade, Ebel O Afolayan, PhD, Onoringa. He has mandated me to represent him. He asked me to put something in writing, and the Ptad told me to make it brief, and I've made it brief enough. God bless you as you listen to me. Amen. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Audio Fere. At 80 something, you still waka. Na Ghana plane, na lota. I made it brief. I said, a brief address of appreciation delivered by High Chief Dr. Emeka Onwumere, JP, at the Ptad Interactive Forum holding today, 8 October 2018 at ENUGU. I'm here today to represent the National President of the Nigeria Union of Pensioners, Comrade Ebel O Afolayan, JP, PhD, and as the National Vice President of ENUGU Southeast Zone. The pensioners of the Southeast Zone and Nigeria in general palpably appreciate Ptad for the good work they are doing in the ENUGU. They have instilled in the ENUGU a comforting experience which has gone a long way in touching the lives of Nigerian pensioners. We appreciate Ptad. You are primus inter pares in Latin, first among all women. Praise the Lord. Yes. The ENUGU Southeast owes a wealth of thanks to the federal government for inaugurating the Ptad. The Ptad has been so accommodating with deep sense of tolerance and due regard for old age that many pensioners who voluntarily decide to come to ENUGU for their various pension problems have come back with smiles on their faces. Are you following up? This is evidence of good-naturedness made manifest in the lives of the Executive Secretary and her staff. You serve with honesty and sincerity of purpose. We pray God to reward you abundantly for this rare disposition. May He continue to guide you as you share the problems of pensioners with them. I say I have among us here a zonal officer who will articulate, consolidate, and present questions through issues that are important to the Southeast region at this interactive session of the forum. He is Comrade Evangelist Livinus U. Ashebu, Secretary ENUGU Southeast Zone. He was sometime what did you call it that time? He was in charge of Owerri Zone, you know, sole administrator of Owerri Zone in those days. Praise the Lord. Yeah. I say, long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria, long live. Long live Ptad, long live. Long live the ENUGU, long live. Signed, High Chief Dr. Emeka Onwumere, JP, FCAI, FNISM, AFTU, National Vice President, Nigeria Union of Pensioners, Southeast Zone. Praise the Lord! Hallelujah! Amen. It's a day I will never forget in my life. A day of memo. A day that has made a wonderful impression in my life. That old men are gathered here today, respected by Ptad. They did it some time ago. This is a very special one. The room is filled up with people. 80, 90, 90 something. I am 84 years of age. I still work. Thank you.
Please put your hands together for him. Thank you very much, sir. Still very strong, still very active. Yes, that's what we should do. That's what Ptad wants for every one of us here. Thank you. Please, let's clap some more. Wow. That is transfer of anointing for old age. Yes, an official presentation of this very wonderful speech. Thank you, sir. There is a way you walk when you are old and proud. Thank you, sir. We'll take one more goodwill message because of time, and this time we'll invite the president of AWAPO, Barrister Matthew Orji Ude. Please put your hands together as he comes up. I say clapping is a good exercise for old age. For most people, it's the only kind of dancing they know how to do. So just clap, it's good.
Thank you, sir. The Executive Secretary, Ptad, directors, heads of Ptad departments, all protocols observed. I am the president of Association of Retired War Affected Police Officers from Southeast and South states of Nigeria. I'll be very brief here. Members of this association are police officers who, along with federal, civil, and public servants of Eastern Nigeria origin, were trapped in Eastern Nigeria when the war broke out in 1967. And they were constrained to serve the government then in power in Eastern Nigeria, which was seeking for secession. At the end of the Civil War, the federal, civil, and public officers were reabsorbed into federal service. But some police officers, about 1,000 of us, were dismissed from service. We thought it was not fair, and we started protesting to various government heads of state from 1970 to the year 2000, 30 years. Fortunately for us, on 29th May 2000, the federal government then granted us pardon, retired us honorably, and fixed our retiring date as 29th May 2000. And from then, we started fighting for our benefits. The Police Pensions Board that handled our case paid us benefits, but pegged their retirement date as 1971. And that made the benefits paid to us to be peanuts. They weren't much. So as a result, from 2008 to 2016, we were protesting to various authorities to redress this and pay us according to the terms of our retirement, which is 2000. We had fought this battle for 9 years until, fortunately for us, the Executive Secretary, Ptad, Sharon Ikazo, was appointed to office on 5th October 2016. 34 days after her appointment, she gave us audience, and 4 members of my organization we spoke to 12-man panel of Ptad and explained our case. They had us down, and right there he spotted our problem to determine whether our retirement date should be 1971 or 2000. And she said to us, "We understand your case. We will handle it expeditiously and get back to you." Only 3 weeks after that appointment, she held a press conference and announced that the federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFRN, has approved the payment of our full retirement benefits. A task for which we have been fighting for 9 years. She solved it in 3 weeks. And the testimony I'd like to give here is that on the 20th of October 2017, just a year ago, the Executive Secretary launched the payment of these benefits at Event Center, Rangers Avenue, ENUGU, and even as we are sitting in the hall, alerts were falling into our people's pockets. Since then, this is the first time we are meeting her live, and we seize this opportunity to thank her for all she has achieved for us. On behalf of members of our association, we express our gratitude to the Executive Secretary for all she has done. But we seize this opportunity of your presence in our midst to raise the following 5 issues which are troubling our minds and for which we are seeking for answers and clarifications. I summed up the issues. 1, outstanding payments in the ongoing exercise. 2, disparity in the amount of pensions being paid to retired warfare police officers when compared with what is being paid to their counterparts. 3, payments of death benefits to next of kin whose fathers or husbands died before the amnesty retirement was announced. Are they entitled to benefits or not? Issue number 4, apparent marginalization of South retirees in the ongoing payments. Issue number 5, bank statements covering the period 2006 to date submitted by pensionable retired warfare police officers. I won't go into detail, but on the issue of the outstanding payments, Ptad has the policy of paying 3 categories of our members. First, they want to pay those under 10 years first. Then they will pay those next of kin when they complete the first stage, before they pay the 3rd group who are already drawing pensions. And for 1 year, I want to announce that Ptad has paid up to 100 of our people. It's a testimony, and we thank them for this. But we have seen that it has taken 1 year, because of money, I know, to pay 100 people. And there are up to 100 people of that category who have not yet been paid. And we know if this pace continues, except money comes somehow, it might take another year before they finish with that category, before they think of next of kin and the other one. And we are suggesting, recommending that in view of the fact that the money is not always available, when we have a certain sum of money to pay, is it possible to select, say, 50 of the people under 10, 30 next of kin, and 20 of those who served for 10 years and up, so that each person gets something? That's a recommendation. And the questions we now ask, first, good, right. We have submitted our questions to, and they will all be dealt with later. But we want to say that our case, the case of retired warfare police officers, it involves a lot of money. And we are aware that the Executive Secretary is doing her best to source for money to pay us. And we are praying to her to persevere and not to surrender, because if she surrenders, we are done for. We have no other hope but her. what makes our case terrible is that our case is a byproduct of the Civil War that ended in 1970, 48 years ago, just 2 years short of half a century. And we think the case file dealing with our case
it will help
is
us.
right to be closed.
Because
and we pray that
going
the
into the
Executive Secretary summarizes it. So we pray that God will bless her, bless all the staff of the pension of Ptad, and guide and shield them, especially the Director of Police Pensions Department. And we say these prayers in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you very much. I know that we are very eager to ask questions. There will be enough time for questions, I assure you. Let's just allow that time to come. He's also going for the presidential handshake. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you. Really touched by his speech. War-affected police officers. Thank you, sir. Well, we'll bring now for our first presentations. I will be inviting 3 of our very top officers who will be answering questions. They'll be just making the presentation first, and immediately after that, we'll take a short break, and then we'll come back to take the panel and ask the questions. So please, that's where we're going right now. Just so you know, if you have questions as they are coming, we need to put them together. But we'll listen keenly to these presentations because they need to be done. And I do this exercise before I bring them up. I'll just do a simple exercise to bring us back here together. I'll just say 1, 2, 3, and say go, and expect us to clap once. Is it okay? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I didn't say go. Okay, can we try it again? All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I still didn't say go. Let's try it one more time. 1, 2, 3, go. Now, what this means is that for the average human being, you have to listen to something at least 3 times to understand it. The people who are coming to speak to us, they don't have 3 times to repeat what they are saying. So I want to plead with us to listen attentively because they are saying very vital issues that affect your pension. So please, let's listen. I want to invite the Director of Corporate Services, as the former Director, Police Pensions Department, Babagana Kaigama. Please put your hands together for him. He'll be sitting. We'll also want to invite up to take a seat the Director in charge of Civil Service Pensions Department. We have Dogo Williams, who's the Deputy Director of Accounts. Please put your hands together for him. We also have the presentation by Sir Jibrin Idris, Assistant Director Admin of PAPD. Please put your hands together for him. That's the Treasurer-funded Parastatals Pensions Department. They'll take their seats, and then first we'll have a first shot at these presentations. We'll invite Babagana Kaigama to do his first presentation. Please, let's welcome them. They have worked hard to make pensions beautiful for us.
Thank you. Otutu Oma, Koinu. May I stand on the already existing protocols? All right. My mothers and fathers, our distinguished participants, good morning. As the MC said, my name is Babagana Kaigama. I'm going to make a brief presentation on one group of pensioners that are under Ptad, the war-affected police officers. The national president of AWAPO, Barrister Ude, has already made my presentation very easy. For Ptad to pay this group of pensioners, what we did was to ask the Police Service Commission to give us a list of those that were given amnesty in 2000. So the first thing we did was to request for that list from the Police Service Commission so that only the genuine ones are paid. That was the first thing we did, and then the list was forwarded to us in Ptad. We started processing their pension benefits in 2015, and as the national chairman president of AWAPO rightly said, on the 20th of October 2017, here in Coal City, ENUGU, we flag off the payment where we made payment to 206 pensioners and 67 NOKs. The national president just said that because as at that day, we made the payments online real time, and as we flag up, most of the pensioners got alerts for those payments. The current status, as of today, we have about 500 verified pensioners under that category of pensioners. 159 of them are on the payroll. Mr. President, we had made payments to more than 100. On our payroll as of today, we have about 159 of them currently earning pensions. And these are the ones that had given us these documents, like the pension computation sheet, pension advice, evidence of service with the Nigeria Police, and then authority for payment for pension and gratuity. For those ones, they are already on our payroll, and they are earning pensions every month. I had already said this in 2017, of October 2017, we flagged up the payment, 206.67 NOKs were paid on that day. The issues and challenges we have for this category of pensioners are, and I quote, there was an approval when the amnesty was granted that the question of payment of arrears of salaries from 16th January 1970 to 29th May 2000, when the amnesty was granted, should not arise as the conversion from dismissal to retirement was not retroactive. This is very clear. That's why those who died before the amnesty was granted are not qualified to be paid pension or any death benefit. Then we also have this issue of, because in 2007, the Police Service Commission made some payments to this group of pensioners. So to avoid overpayment, double payment, and the rest of them, we had requested this group of pensioners to provide us with their statement of accounts from that day till now. And then we also have this challenge. As at the time of the war, there were some underage people that joined this police. Ordinarily, one has to be, before you become eligible for employment under the Nigerian law, you must be 18 and above. For those who join police before 15, obviously, they do not qualify. Then we also, from the list we got from the Police Service Commission, there are some group of pensioners that came with their letter of amnesty, but unfortunately, their names could not be found on the master list gotten from the Police Service Commission. So these are some of the issues. And then where we have discrepancy in records, date of birth, and the rest of them, we have so many issues. So for this one, we don't generalize. If you have any problem, it's going to be treated on an individual basis. As I said, currently we have 159 of these pensioners on our payroll that are being paid. And then the question the national president raised, we are aware of it because when they were placed on the payroll, the computation was not based on the 35 years. We are aware of that. We are on it. And as soon as we have the funds, we'll pay those group of pensioners. And then about 87 pensioners that have incomplete documentation, we have sent out the request. Those documents are yet to be returned to Ptad. As soon as we have those documents, we'll certainly compute their pensions and pay accordingly. If you have any question, please hold it. We have a session for question and answers. We will be here to take on all your questions and answers. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we'll just take the next presentation, and this will be done by ENUGU Williams, Deputy Director Accounts.
Great Nigerian pensioners, great our senior citizens. I beg to stand on the existing protocol. Ptad came into being in 2013, and it encountered some problems, some challenges. And to narrow it down to the department, that is civil service pension, we did not inherit any credible database. Also, the payroll was unreliable. Also, there were about 60,000 complaints which were centered on harmonization, not on payroll. Some of them underpayment. So what did Ptad do? Also, we had the greatest incidences of fraud, mostly from outside. And so what did Ptad do? It was now imperative for Ptad to conduct verification. So civil service verification started in November 2015, and by November 2015, and by December 2017, it was completed. So what did we do? At the end of it, about 116 pensioners were captured. So what we are interested now is, where are we now? What have we done after the verification? We started by the computation. And when we talk of computation, it's the calculation of your monthly pension, your arrears. And this goes further. Severally, they have to check on the system. We have a portal which we do the calculation. There's a checker, and also the federal auditors have to satisfy, have to pass it. At the end of it, the ES approve it, and then based on the availability of funds, payment is made. So we started the computation, and then the first emphasis was on those not on payroll. We ensure that we payroll them. Also, to resolve all outstanding problems such as short payments, non-harmonization, that one has been done or is ongoing. Another issue was that we found out that some were grossly overpaid. For example, we can find that a level 3 officer, when he was in service, was earning something less than 20,000, but he was now on the payroll earning about 150,000. So we looked at it, the payroll was unreliable. And so that was what the verification was out to address. Also, we found out that some were unqualified, served less than the number of years required for pension. And so we have to suspend them. Also, deceased pensioners, some of them were on the payroll for many years without being taken off. So we have to take them off. And the end of it, at the end of the verification exercise, some didn't turn up. And also, we have to drop them. Yes, I said about 24,000 were dropped. We also continue the computation of the next of kin benefits, which is also ongoing. At present, we have done about 74 files, and these files are ready for payment. They have been audited, and they are just waiting for funds to make the payment. Payroll management, in that instance, we have payroll 30,000 pensioners who were not on the payroll. They were not on the payroll. They were dropped for one reason or the other, like arbitrary drop around 2010, and some of them were not even on the payroll since they retired. So we were able to payroll 30,000 pensioners now. Also, those who were on the payroll were able to make adjustment of their monthly pension. Some of them were all under being paid, some were over. So about 10,522 pensioners have had their monthly pension adjusted, and arrears are waiting for payment. Then we have removed the unqualified and the diseased pensioners on the payroll. As I said earlier, 24,021 of the pensioners who were on payroll but didn't turn up for the verification have now been dropped. As I speak to now, we have less than 10% that have turned up for verification. Some of the reasons that they were dropped, main reasons some of them were drops, are that some of them didn't appear for verification. That is one. Another issue was some inconsistency of account numbers. You know, like banks that do merger, we have like Heritage Bank. Some of them had the old account number while they were verified with the new. We had the new number on our payroll while they were verified with the old number. So when there's the system would not recognize these two accounts. So we look at them as different pensioners. So some of them were dropped. Also, joint accounts and corporate accounts, they're not for pension payment, because like a corporate is an entity. So they are also dropped. Also, state pensioners whose appointment was after the cutoff, that is after 31st March 1976, were also dropped. The issue of primary school teachers and local government teachers, we know the circular of 1987, which mandated states to establish local government pension boards. And then their responsibility of that payment was then transferred to the local government, pension board. So that is why we had to drop them. And we have multiple payments, which we notice, like I earlier mentioned of the accounts. Some will find out that the two accounts were still existing on the payroll, the old account and the new account. And the banks have a way that all those two accounts, funds are coming in to them. And it's one account, but it has two, the old and the new. And anyone you paid in, the money goes into that account. So we found out some of them, and we had to drop them. Then, I know we want to know what is the result so far. How much have we spent? How many? I've already mentioned there are about 30,000 who were not on the payroll have been payrolled. In the Northwest, which we started as the pilot Northwest and the Southeast, we have payroll like Northwest, we have payroll 2,996 who were not on payroll, but they are now on payroll. In the Southeast, which we are here, we have payrolled 4,881 who were not on payroll, but they are now on payroll. In the Northeast, we have payrolled 2,830 who were not on payroll, but they are now on payroll. South-South, 8,564 who were not on payroll, but they are now on payroll. Then with all other zones, because we had to do a complaint, we have payrolled 234 who were not on the payroll. Same thing with Southwest, which we did late, and the North Central, we have payrolled 11,264 who were not on payroll. That is all about 30,000, above 30,000, who were not on payroll but have been payroll. Then those who are on the payroll but have them adjustment, about just 10,522, we are still going on and we are still computing. You will still enter the north, the southwest and the north central who have complaints, who are on the payroll with complaints. Then, because the pilot verification started from the northwest and southeast, we have a lot of complaints of not on payroll, still not yet payroll. So we had to go further to investigate, review all the files that were flagged. And we have found that about 6,000 of them are qualified to be payroll. So we'll start the computation. We have started the computation, and very soon, before the end of the year, most of them will be placed on the payroll. And talking of payment of arrears, the whole total arrears so far is 21.4 billion, 24.4 billion. Out of that, we were able to pay 14.7 billion. Remaining 6.7 billion that is still outstanding. And so some of you would have said you have been payroll, but you have not been paid arrears. Still, we are waiting for funds to make the payment. And apart from that, I'm telling the 6,000 that we are about to compute is another added arrears. Also the next of kin. So the whole amount being owed is going towards 10 billion. So the opportunities that are still available to pensioners, especially those that were dropped or those that didn't meet up the verification, is that we have a walk-in verification that takes place every Wednesday, both in Ptad offices in Abuja and Lagos. So, but first thing, we want the pensioner to submit the photocopies of the employment records before we schedule the verification. This is to avoid the unqualified pensioners. This is to avoid the unqualified pensioners. If you are not qualified, we can write you and tell you that you are not qualified, so that we won't bother to come for the verification. Then the mobile verification for the sick and the firm pensioners is also available. We go to hospitals, go to homes, and verify them. So, but they also have to submit their employment records and the medical report. That will help us to look at their documents, ascertain, and then we now go out and verify them. Then also, we are also able to accommodate the diaspora pensioners, and this is, we are being accommodated for 6 months first, because they have to go to the Nigerian embassies over there, and they will certify that I am alive certificate will be issued, and they will send it and send their documents through a third party to Ptad, and we will payroll them. All these ones I'm working, like those are working, we are working on them. We have computed some of the files. They are getting towards about 2,000 of them. We will payroll them either this month or early next month. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I know that the issue of incidents of fraud is still prevalent, and so we have to be careful on that, especially that of civil service pension. We have cases of text messages, phone calls, and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We'll now go on to Jibrin Idris, who will be talking to us about verification update and future plans. He's the Assistant Director Admin of PAPD. Please put your hands together for him.
Well done. Thank you very much. Good morning, my esteemed mothers and fathers. I'll be talking to you on parastatals pensions. I'll just update you on the issues that mainly concerns them. The department is one of the 4 operational departments of PAPD, of Ptad, by virtue of the Pension Reform Act 2014. The department is saddled with the responsibility of managing the pensions of Treasury-funded pensions under the Defined Benefit Scheme. As at date, we have 103,170 pensioners on our payroll from 265 agencies. The payroll size as at today is about 4.2 billion every month. For ease of administration, we divided the agencies into 6 sectors. We have health, power, transport, the universities, education, we have PCN, then the last sector is research institutes and all the other public sector agencies. Now to the topical issues that our pensioners mostly get informed about. The first one is that of 33%. The ES has spoken extensively on this, but I want to put on record that the department has paid 18 months so far. 12 months was paid in 2016, while 6 months was paid last year. The ES already mentioned that efforts are being made to ensure at least 12 months is paid before the year runs out. The Directorate is making contact with all the agencies in this regard to ensure this is achieved. Then the defunct agencies that were taken over. As at date, we have computed 7 agencies. We have put 5 of them on payroll. The ES has said that the 6th one, which is NITEL, will come on to payroll by the end of this month. These 5 agencies that we have paid, that we have put on payroll, have pensioners of about 5,672. So this is a huge number. You can imagine this number. These are people that have not received pension for over 10 years. For pensioners or next of kin of these agencies that are already on payrolls, opportunity still exists for them to be verified and paid. For that purpose, every Tuesday in our Abuja headquarters, we verify this group of pensioners. And our Lagos office is also open for them on Mondays and Tuesdays. For all the other defunct agencies that we have approval for, we shall verify them when we verify all the other remaining parastatals. Following the payrolling of the defunct agencies, the director was inundated with complaints of short payment. The pensioners had an erroneous impression of what will constitute their monthly pension. It is important that we know that the monthly pension and gratuity are determined by the total pension emolument. And these are the elements that make up the total pension emolument. Your gratuity and pension is a percentage, and it's a function of the years you have put in. So it is the annual basic salary, the annual rent allowance, annual utility allowance, annual transport allowance, annual meal allowance, and then for some category of officers, the annual domestic staff allowance forms part of it. This is very important so that by the time we begin to pay you, you know what constitutes your pension. Now, verification. Parastatals pensioners are the last group of pensioners that are yet to be verified. I want to inform you that plans have reached advanced stage to get this done. What is delaying this is the ES does not want to do any verification when we have people that have been verified that have not been payrolled. And it makes a lot of sense. Why would you continue to verify when you can't put them on payroll? I'm happy to tell you that we've gone very far. Very soon we will be done with all those that we have verified, and we will now start the verification proper. When the time is, we shall be adequately informed. It will be well publicized and everybody will know. But it is important we know the documentations that we need to be verified. in the folders you are given, this has been listed. But let me just say, your first letter of appointment, your letter of last promotion, your approval of letter of retirement are key. Your last pay slip, your bank statements. Please refer to the manuals we've given you. You will see the detailed list of the documents you need to be verified. I want to assure you that the verification we are going to embark upon will not be the normal lengthy one. This one will be a bit shorter and smarter. And as my colleague has earlier said, those who are sick or infirmed will be taken care of. All you need to do is to inform us in writing with the details with the medical report. And for those who are very old or weak, when you come to our verification centers, we have a special place for you to be verified. Please let us have it that all problems of harmonization, non-payment of arrears, whether gratuity or omissions in payments from the time you retired up to date, will be addressed for all partial pensioners by the time we do verification and do computation. Thank you very much. We shall take your questions when the session is pleased.
Thank you very much. Can we put our hands together for very much they have helped us to pass this message. All right, thank you. We have just done the presentation, and I've been told that we also we'll just move on very quickly. We were supposed to have a break, but we have all graciously agreed to just move on. Thank you very much for your understanding. I, however, will just announce that we have the General Secretary of the NUP. We're told that he came all the way from Abuja for this, Elder Actor Zal. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you. We will, at this point, also bring up some representative of unions who have volunteered to come over to also join our panel here to help ask questions and to just facilitate that question and answer session. So I will invite 3 of them and also have a moderator join in to just help us see how we go about it, to make it quickly as possible. Then for your questions, please, they will be treated. However, we'll advise that if you have this program booklet, if you go to page 8 of the program booklet, 8, 9, 10, and 11 are very important pages for you. They have questions, so you can also continue to read them to know everything about Ptad. They contain details, so don't throw this away, please. From page 8, pages 8, 9, 10, 11, in fact, up to page 13, they contain, or 14, they contain everything you need to know. Questions, frequently asked questions, department, everything, even processes, your nest of kin, and everything you need to know contained in there. So please don't throw this booklet away. Keep it where you are putting. Okay. Sorry about that noise. So these questions are very important. And on the back page of your program also, we have how to contact us. Also, you have all our offices from Abuja, Edo, Lagos, ENUGU, any part of the country you want to contact us. We have phone numbers, we have physical addresses, we have emails, Facebook, and other social media portals. So please keep this program booklet very well. It will help you to get in touch with us. It will also help you to answer most of the questions that probably you will have asked. So that's also important. Let me invite the representative of the NUP. I'll bring up Evangelist Livinus Ashegbu, the Secretary of the Southeast Zone. Please put your hands together as he comes up to join us. I'll also bring up the Deputy President of Esrewa, Southeast Zone, Sir G.E. Njoku. Please put your hands together as he joins us up here. And we once again bring up the President of AWAPO, Barrister Matthew Oji Ude. Please put your hands together for him as he joins us. And I should be able to bring up our moderator for this panel. Our moderator is Mada Phil Ugochukwu. Please put your hands together for her as she comes up. Please, can we bring a seat for her up here, please, our ushers? She needs a specialized seat, actually. Remember, those booklets are very important, so guard them very well as we use them to answer questions and to contact us. Let's invite Mr. Jafaru Isiaku is a federal auditor with Ptad. Please put your hands together for him. He's joining us up here. We trust him, we know him, and he knows his job. Please clap for him.
Good afternoon, our pensioners. You're welcome to our question and answer session. We have our union representatives up on stage. They'll be asking general questions on behalf of the different groups that are here. We've also collected your questions, and I have them articulated here. We'll also answer the questions that we have here. But the union representatives have graciously agreed to come on stage so that they can ask those more important questions on behalf of the unions. What we're going to do is that we'll start with Evangelist Livanus Ashiebu, who is the Secretary, Southeast Zone, and the NUP. Yes. Okay. Before we get into that session, may I please call our Executive Secretary, Madam Sharon Ikazo, she would like to give us some information.
It's not really an information. I have two question sheets here. One from Ezeldoye Noel from Michael Okpara University is asking if it's possible to have a pensioner's identity card from Ptad. Yes, this is one of the things we're working on as well. And that identity card, we also want to partner with the private sector, because in civilized countries, pensioners and the elderly, once you cross 60, you get a certain rebate on services, be it airline ticket or you go to the shops, you get your rebates. So these are things that we are doing as well. But I would suggest that every pensioner tries to get his NIMC identity card. That would help as well. Yes, then Chief Amadi Ezike. You're asking about your brother who retired from the military in 1984. Ptad only handles the police pension, but we collaborate with the military pension board. So if you give me your brother's full details, I can forward it to the military pension board with his complaints, because the new chairman just paid a courtesy call on Ptad last week. Because like I say, all pensioners are the same, be them civilians or military. So please forward your brother's information. Your contact detail is here as well, so we can forward it to the military pension board for him. Thank you. Go ahead, Ada.
Thank you. Yes. Okay, we'll go into the question and answer session. Please, can I call Mr. Williams Dogo, the Deputy Director in charge of accounts for the civil service. He'll stand here to answer all the questions from the NUP representative from the Southeast. You're welcome, sir. You can sit, please.
Number 1, 2, 3 questions have been duly treated on balance of payment of 33%. Those who were dropped from the payroll, those who were short paid. We want to stand on the compassion and empathy of the Executive Director for Pensioners to make an appeal. Pensioners are made up mainly of retired primary school teachers. They are in great number. Though we recognize the federal circular referred to here in this hall, none of the state governments are implementing that particular circular, to the effect that our retired primary school teachers, especially those who retired from 1991 downwards, whose pensions are mainly with the federal government, for the past 16 years have not received anything. Many of them may be here. They are suffering, and we want to appeal to the Executive Director to sympathize and empathize with this group and take it up with the government to say if Ptad can bring them in and begin to pay them. Most of them are suffering. That's the remaining question we have here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. They say they'll come. Thank you very much. Because of Peter's passion, empathy for pensioners, we had all these complaints which have been coming up along the way. And because of that, we had to write the head of service to seek more clarification on that issue. The same thing, the reply we got was what the circular was saying. So right now, as you have appealed to my executive secretary, I know she will take it up and follow with the state government, because the responsibility was transferred to them by the circular 1987. So they're supposed to pay all the teachers and the local government workers through the pension, the local government pension board. And I think with that, you continue also to follow up to see where we will, because our essence is to see that all pensioners are happy and they are well taken care of because they are senior citizens. Thank you.
Yes. Another appeal. If you go around the states, you discover that the state governments have reneged in the payment of state pensions. The executive director, executive secretary did mention it here. He appealed to state governors to please pay pensioners their due pension. For instance, in my own state, we've been able to articulate what the government is owing us, and it's come up to 56 billion naira. Because our government has not been paying us since year 2015. And if you go around the states, I'm the zonal secretary, you see that this is the pathetic situation, except few states. It's a pathetic situation. And we are appealing, can anything be done to help pensioners really? Getting an organized body to get out this pension, though we know that a law will be needed to be passed, and get the pensions, the state pensions, to be paid by a body like Ptad, so that it will ease pensioners this suffering. You know, the governors are under immunity, and there's nothing you can do to them. This is our second appeal, our second appeal.
Well, yeah.
We'll just take this last question. Mr. Dogu, please just hurry up.
All right. As you have said, it's an appeal. I also will appeal to my executive secretary to take up that challenge, because we are in the pension industry. We must collaborate with other pension agencies and the state government to see that all our pensioners the whole country are well taken care of. Because we ourselves, we are also moving to that direction very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dugo, but please don't go. We have questions from our pensioners in the audience. Mr. Dugo, you still have some. And we'll try and answer the questions quickly and briefly, please. What happens to the deceased pensioners who had not been paid their 33% arrears, and how do they get payments?
To go directly, when they are verified, that is the next of kin, we compute including all the 33%, because we know it is a one-off payment. So we don't even go back to say that they still have 12 months arrears. We just compute everything and it's paid. So all what I'm talking of, the death benefits and so on, they are all included inside. The 33% is included in the computation.
Thank you very much. Now this concerns, that question was for next of kins. So if there's anyone who has a deceased relative, mother or father, then that would be the process. We have another question from Comrade Emmanuel Ihana Chokbara. During the 2015 verification in Imo State, all the teachers who taught in mission schools were not verified. Why? He had already touched on that, but Mr. Dogo, please quickly.
The mission schools were absorbed by the state government, so they are still part of Ptad's pensioners. So if there was an omission on that, I think they can come up for verification, because mission schools are part of Ptad's pensioners, because they were absorbed by the state government. And the state government, we will verify those pensioners.
Do they need to go to ENUGU office, or do they go to the headquarters, please?
Presently, verification is in 2 offices, the headquarters, that is Abuja and Lagos.
Okay. I'll take 2 more questions. This is from Onyechi Nneka. Please, why is it that after verification in November 2015 in this ENUGU state, I am yet to be paid my gratuity and arrears of pensions?
I don't know whether she has been payroll or she was on the payroll initially. But first and foremost, there could be a mix-up. Either the documents submitted, some of them are maybe insufficient documents. But we are working on the remaining files. As I earlier told you, that we have reviewed 6,000 files, and these files will be computed, and most of them will be put on payroll very soon. So,
Call the name again.
Madam Onyeka.
Please, Madam Onyeka, where are you?
Onyechi Nneka.
Onyechi Nneka, please come forward so we sort out your problem now. Sit over here. Who is from CSPD? Apart from Dogo.
all right, Bochi is outside.
Praise God. Madam Onyechi Nneka's problems will be solved here today. Amen. And that prayer is also for the rest of our pensioners here. At the end of this session, our complaints will be taken and they will be resolved. This is the last question, Mr. Nnaji Emmanuel. And this is a recurring question from those in Ebonyi State in particular. Why is it that for the first time in the history of gratuity, that gratuity is being paid in percentage in Ebonyi State? This is a recurring question, Mr. Du.
This is the state government. I can't talk about that because I don't know percentage they are using. If you talk of Ptad, that Ptad is paying you a certain percentage, I would have answered that question. But I think this question should be directed to the state government.
Thank you, Mr. Dogo. Thank you very much. A round of applause for him. We'll still come back and take more questions as we receive them. So let me please call up Sir G.E. Njoku. He's the deputy. You can sit down, sir, please. You can sit down. He's the deputy president representing Esrawa. You'll be asking your questions, sir. I beg you, please, to keep them brief. There'll be room for goodwill messages at the end of the session. And I'll call Mr. Jibrin Idris. He's our Deputy Director Admin in Parastatals. Please come forward. Assistant Director. Please, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Fellow senior citizens, you're welcome. First and foremost, I must have to commend Ptad for the job they are doing so far. I know it has not been very easy, but at least we that are in the federal sector, I think we are not lacking so much behind in our monthly pensions. However, the question of verification exercise to Esrewa pensioners, that is PSCN pensioners. It's a long time we've been expecting this, and we don't know what is exactly holding it, because this will really bring about imbalances, to some members who are either short-paid or overpaid. You've already rightly mentioned when you were speaking to us that such is coming up. Please, I would very much like to, Ptad, to make sure that that of PSCN pensioners are, are being done urgently. Thank you very much. Do I continue?
Sir, was that a question or a comment?
Yes, what is exactly holding the PSCN, verification exercise?
Okay. So please, let's just ask the question straight so that we can...
All right. Do I continue?
Hello, sir.
Okay.
As I said earlier, all parastatals, including PSCN, will be verified. The plans have reached advanced stage, but we are almost done with the already verified defunct agencies. When we are through with them and we payroll them, then the verification will commence.
It's okay. Then there's this question of omission of members' monthly pension. Somebody will be having his pension paid from January to August. By September, she or he will be omitted. What is the really cause of these omissions? Is it from the central bank or from your own office? I have a case here of somebody whose pension was omitted by this last month, September. She has a letter with me here, which I would really like to present.
Sir, please, let's just ask the questions that we have. Any complaints or detailed issues, we'll take them after this time.
What is the real cause of these omissions? Is it from your office or from the central
from
bank?
our investigation, it's not omission, but issue of failed payments. And most of them are beyond the control of Ptad. It has to do with the network or the other parties involved. But when we receive such complaints, we try to address them. So what you do, make this submission, and we'll go and check and identify what the problem is, and it will be sorted out.
Please explain the GIFMIS payment platform and remitter. It will be much clearer to the pensioners why their payments do not get into their bank accounts.
Okay, ma'am. You know, Ptad does not operate any commercial bank account. All payments are made via the TSA account. The TSA accounts are with the central bank. The whole process is automated end to end. What Ptad does is prepare payroll, and it is loaded onto the payment platform, whether GIFMIS or remitter. And when the funds are available, we receive information, we will see it that the funds are available. and just with a click of a button, the funds are supposed to reach the individual beneficiaries. But as it moves, it could be due to various reasons. So most times due to technical glitches, the payments may not go. Sometimes it hangs after a while, it ends up in the pensioner's account. Most times, as maybe in this case, it will fail. And if it fails, it takes like 2 weeks before we know that it has failed, because it will just be showing as pending. So after that time, when it is concluded that it is a failed payment, before we can now reinitiate the process. And then sometimes after 2 or 3 trials, it still fails. So, but the process continues. I think it is a technical thing that has not been perfected.
Can we also add that for pensioners who have not seen their monthly pensions, they should please also call our call center. That's that number we mentioned at the back of your programs. And easily they'll be able to tell you if there are any issues in the department.
Okay, that's interesting. In addition to that, we appreciate, the creation of these liaison offices. But it looks as if they don't have much powers, because when cases of this nature is, presented to them, they find it very difficult to solving it, at that very point. Instead, they will ask you either to go to Abuja or, to wait, and you continue to wait indefinitely for that to be rectified.
Thank you for that question, sir. Our Director of Corporate Services will quickly answer that.
Thank you. Sorry, sir. In the state offices, the accounts departments are centralized. Actually, they are not decentralized. We don't have the account sections in the state offices. That is the reason why they could not attend to such problems here in the regional offices. It has to be, referred to us. Just as he explained, when the payment may be due to some technical issues, the payment might hang for like a week in some cases, especially when the gateway in the respective banks have problem. So until the payment is reconciled and turns the status to unpaid, that's the only time we are sure that that payment has failed, and we can initiate to represent the payment once again. He has already explained that, but the reason is because we don't have account sections in the regional offices. Thank you.
It's okay. Thank you very much. That's the last of my questions.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We appreciate you. Appreciation, Mr. Jupin.
Please, are there any pensioners who have omitted pension payments that have not been paid by Ptad? If there's anyone, please identify yourself so we know where our failures are. Okay, I will send someone round to get your details, but have you been paid these monthlies that were omitted? It is still pending. For how long? Please, sir. 5 months. No, your own is an issue of underpayment. No, I'm talking of omission of your monthly pension. Say that you did not receive, we just paid September. Say that you didn't receive August pension and it has not been resolved. Since May. You have not received at all since May. Civil Service Pension Department? Which department? Parastatals will come and handle that issue. Where is Olive? Please go around those that identify themselves that have omitted monthly pensions. Please take their names, their departments, and account numbers so we check what happened and try and resolve it.
Thank you, Executive Secretary Ptad. Great pensioners. Great. Great pensioners. Great. I want to crave your indulgence. Yes, the ES wants to solve all our problems here today, and we will do it, but please, we want to do it orderly so that we don't distract the proceedings for the day. She has already given the directive. A paper will go round and take all your names. Please, we need your full name and the period in particular. You need to be exact with the period that you were omitted. Please also let us know if you are verified or not, because that plays an important role in solving your problem. Please be seated. The paper will come round to you. Before we go on to take Barrister Ude's questions, I would like to ask Chief Amadi Ezike CC, who asked a question on behalf of a retired military officer, to please come to the table right here so that we can get more information and be sure of what the issue is. Chief Amadi Ezike, SG, are you in the hall, please? Yes, sir. Thank you. Barrister Ode, you know when you gave your goodwill message, you had asked all your questions. Virtually all the questions.
Yes. So let Mr. Kaigama answer the questions. So we have a lot of pensioners in the audience who would like to ask their own questions individually. Am I right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
It was compulsory.
Yes, his own questions.
Just
He already has the questions, and he'll go ahead to answer them.
Good morning once again. Your questions are, when will the payments resume for war-affected pensioners? You know, Ptad is a treasury-funded parastatal. Whatever we do, if we don't have the funds, there is nothing much we can do. But as soon as we have the funds, we will actually pay those that are qualified to be paid. You also asked a question that you have 3 categories of pensioners, the war affected, and that we should, instead of paying them in categories, we should organize and pay them as they come. And that's exactly what we do. We don't...
What I was recommending is that instead of paying one category after another and not paying any other category until you finish paying one category.
That's exactly what we do, sir.
The suggestion we are making is that because money is not always available, will it not be a little more convenient for all of us if you pick, say, 50 people from among under 10, 30 people from next of kins, and about 20 people from the other category, and pay them with what money is available, so that what is being paid can go across the board. Otherwise, if we start waiting until you finish one before the other, it will take a lot of time.
Thank you, sir. That's exactly what we do. We don't, disaggregate, because like last year when we came here in 2017, we paid pensioners as well as the NOKs. So, like the one that you mentioned, 10 years, those that served less than 10 years, obviously, they are not qualified for pension. They can be paid pension if they are not qualified. So that's why whatever we do this according to the laws. If the law says this, then we now go with the law. For those who served less than 10 years, they are not pensionable.
Yes, but the amnesty granted us has now presumed that every one of us has served for 35 years. Because when the date 2000 is taken as our date of retirement, you can then know that what it implies is that, and I think we had that interpretation when the executive secretary spoke to us. So it means that all of us now qualify for pensions and to be paid with the salary scale of, police salary scale of 2000, which is the date of retirement. That is the case
for the salary scale, yes. in my presentation, I actually made reference to that some of you that were earlier paid were not paid based on 35 years. Yes. And that's exactly what I said, that the computation has been done, and as soon as we have the funds, we're going to make those payments. It was very clear.
Yes.
And I made reference to the amnesty later.
Yes, we're saying that that amnesty also includes those who served under 10 years before the war ended. It includes all of us, and not those who are just already pensioned.
Where we have issues, we'll make clarification, get clarification from the Police Service Commission, sir. It's noted. We'll get to that, sir.
Yes.
I have answered this, and then you also talked about disparity on amounts of monthly pension payment made to war-affected police officers. You know, pension payment is a function of, my colleague has explained that you don't expect every pensioner to be paid equally.
No, not certainly.
The length of service,
yes,
the grade level and step you retired on, the year of retirement, all those come into play. So if, for instance, someone that retired in 2002, and then someone who retired in 2007, even if they retired on the same grade level and step, their pensions could not be the same because the 2000 chart is quite different from the 2007 or 2006. So when we make our computation, we get this salary charts from the National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission. We don't just compute these pensions in our offices. We get the genuine charts from the National Salaries, National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission. That's what we do. We rely on those charts we get from the Salaries and Wages Commission. That's the reason why you have those. They are not discrepancies actually per se, but it's because they did not retire the same time and they were not on the same grade levels and steps.
I think the officer who made explanations before has dealt with this subject.
Sir,
yes.
AWAPO is a group that we know well in Ptad. And even when you came up, I think it was evident that we're working closely. I crave your indulgence. Let's not go too deep into the details. Whatever needs to be resolved, when we get back to the office, we'll look at the circulars, get your interpretations, and we'll communicate back to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Kaigama, we have a couple of questions from the pensioners.
Okay.
And so that you can also address.
The only one left, only one question.
Which one is that, sir?
Apparent disparity in payments to retirees of South-South.
I thought you were just answering that, sir.
No, this issue arose when the payments were being made.
Okay.
Our people in Cross River complained that none of them had been paid. Our people in Rivers complained that only one person was paid.
Okay,
we brought it to the knowledge of the executive secretary.
Okay.
And she acted like a mother. She phoned the chairman and asked him to be patient. They would pay. And within 2 months, they paid 8 from Cross River.
But the issue is the disparity now.
No, but in Rivers State, since the payment started, only one person has been paid. And the led delegation to my office said, I will raise it today,
yes, sir,
so that it can be addressed.
Sir, you know more than any other person that every pensioner's service record is different. What we might be calling a disparity might not be a disparity, but rather based on documentation and the service records or whatever the complaints are. But please be rest assured that we will meet with you after this session and we'll get the details and then we'll deal with it.
Thank you.
Let me thank Mr. Levinus.
Can I make it clear, sir? When we make payments, we do not see tribe or gender or religion. Because it's a wrong insinuation you're giving. When we see AWAPO, we put the numbers, we do not desegregate into states or regions or tribes. They are all Nigerians.
So, sirs, we thank you for coming up on the stage. We will return to your seat so that we can invite others. But before then, let us take some questions which Mr. Kaigama will be answering. Osha, can you help them, please, this way, to come down? Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for them. Okay. Wilfred E. Skybank is having problems now. What happens to bank customers in the event of their payments? I believe what he's saying is, what will happen to their monthly pensions?
Nothing will happen because the government, CBN, has already come in. So please, don't panic. Nothing will happen. The payments will continue, and you will certainly get your payments. The bank has already been taken over by CBN, so there won't be any issue.
Thank you, Mr. Kaigama. Mr. ENUGU Moses Chukwu from FRC and ENUGU is asking, if he wants to change his bank for reasons best known to him, is it possible? And how long will it take to take effect?
It's very possible for any one of you to change his or her bank, because we don't impose banks on our pensioners. It's a matter of choice. If you are not satisfied with the services of any bank, you are free to change it, but then you have to now attach your old bank statement, get a certificate of non-indebtedness of the previous bank, and then that one would be effected as soon as possible, as soon as we get your application for change of bank.
So may I add that for married women, you have to bring your marriage, evidence of your marriage certificate, of evidence of change of name in a newspaper publication. So another question, by Fabian Okakbo. Constitutional review of pensions every 5 years. What is now being done to effect it on our pensions?
Yes, the Constitution provides that every 5 years pension is reviewed, either when there is a salary increase or it is reviewed every 5 years, whichever that comes earlier. But to the best of our knowledge, information, the last pension review was 2010, and Ptad has no control over that until it is reviewed and we are advised by the National Salaries and Income and Wages Commission before we can effect any increase.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Great pensioners.
Great.
We're sounding a bit tired. Great pensioners.
Great, Ptad.
You're with us. Yes. Please, let me call to the stage while we continue the questions the other union representatives. Mr. Chief Edwin Ugwu, Southeast President for NAPO, FUPA Chief PC Okolo, UNN, Railway Comrade Obi Oyanne. Please just make your way up to the stage while we continue with the questions from our pensioners. The next question is from Mr. Vincent Ejemono. Why is it that I have not been receiving monthly salary payments since the monthly pension payments since the month of March 2018? He's from the Ministry of Police Affairs.
Since May 2018, is possible, sorry if I may ask the pensioner, is the pensioner here to go for verification?
Mr. Vincent Ejemono.
Because it's possible, it's likely that it is one of those that were dropped as a result of non-verification.
Would you like Mr. Dogo to finish?
My colleague can answer that question.
Since the pensioner says that he received last in March, could be as a result of the 24,000 that we dropped. Because after the verification, those that did not appear for the verification, we had to drop them. because not to continue to boost our payroll, because most of them, I would say, because since then, only about 10% have turned up for verification. And I think if the person is here, let's find out whether the person has been verified. If not, whether there's an issue of the account numbers, because sometimes during the verification, the account numbers are captured wrongly, or the banks is captured wrongly. And when the system is comparing the payroll with the database, it will find out that there are two different pensioners, so it may throw that person off as not verified. So as you see the person, we want to find out more about that. Did you do verification? Have you done verification? He said no.
So are you Mr. Vincent?
Have they done your verification, sir? You have not been verified. In my opening remarks, I said it clearly that in March of this year, we dropped 24,000 from our payroll. These are people that did not come forward for verification. When Mr. Dogo was making his presentation as well, he said only 10% of that 24,000 have come forward. So the balance that have not come forward are ghost pensioners on the payroll. If we calculate the amount we have saved for government by these verifications, so without coming for verification, which we started since 2015, there is no way we can keep on paying. We have a lot of other pensioners we need to pay. So please, sir, you'll have to come forward for verification. Please send your documents to the ENUGU office. We have a new staff, experienced staff we have sent from Abuja, Angela Nwoye, to head the ENUGU office. So issues of those who have not received their pension since March or May of this year can be solved there. We will be sending mobile servers to the ENUGU office to carry out these verifications. This will save you coming to Abuja, because as of now, it's only Lagos and Abuja that we can do verifications. I wish we can do verifications in every state of the Federation, but we have to be careful of the issue of fraud, because once you're on that government payroll, that is it. And we know the abuse of the past. As we're doing the verification and recomputation, we're seeing people from grade level 2 receiving pensions of grade level 14. Yes, these are the maladministration of the past that Ptad is now building its credible database to make sure that the right people receive the right pension. So out of that 24,000, only 10% came forward. The rest, where are they? This is the fraud that Nigeria has been going through that we have to end. So please, sir, put your name is already there and your contacts are there. Which state are you from, sir? Imo. When are you going back to Imo? Today? No, I'm hearing him. He can't travel. Okay, so no, there be no gabia for you back for I'm living to SUM.
Thank you, yes. We have one last question for Mr. Kaja.
Angela Nwoye, please come forward. Go ahead, Ada.
Okay, ma'am. We have one last question. It's from the chairman, NUP, ENUGU. Pensioners who were verified in 2015, some of them received certificate of verification, who have received certificates of verification have not been paid a kobo. So let me allow Mr. Dogo to answer.
All right. The question is for CSPD, that's Civil Service Pension Department. Yes. Is the pensioner around? What's the name?
No, it's the chairman.
All right, chairman.
We have the question on behalf of the chairman.
All right, thank you very much. It could be one of those files that I was mentioning that, you know, for the southeast and the northwest, we had it like the pilot verification issue. So most of those, we have some issues on them, and we have just reviewed most of those files that were flagged. And we have about 6,000 of them that we are computing now. So likely that file is part of the ones we are computing now. So, but we'll get the details so that we'll find out later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dogo. There's a question here from Mr. Abweze Damian Ugu, but I believe it's a question that concerns all pensioners here. He's saying that when somebody wants to make an inquiry with Ptad from our Abuja office, that the phones will continue ringing. And how do we then ventilate our feelings? Thank you for this question. Sir, is that you? Okay, no. We have 2 phone lines, and please, if you check at the back of the program you're holding, you'll see it at the top. One starts with 0800. That is the toll-free line, and it's free when you call. So I believe that many pensioners across the nation like to use that particular number. But there's a second number which, although you have to pay, that is the air networks will take money, the 09 number. You can also try that number. We also have our website where you can go to www.ptad.gov.ng, and you can also submit your complaints there. Also, as our ES has said, Angela Nwoye is now here in our ENUGU office. Please visit the Liaison office instead of trying to reach Abuja office. It's for safety and your convenience. Thank you. So I have a couple of more questions. This one is from NIPOST. So Mr. Jibrin, you'll answer this. They are looking at when will NIPOST pensioners be verified? When will NIPOST pensioners be verified?
All parastatal pensioners, including NIPOST, will be verified when the verification of parastatal pensioners will take place. And as I've said earlier, plans are on, and very soon there will be announcement on when it will start and how it will go. So just exercise a little bit more patience for this place.
What of any NIPOST pensioner or any other parastatal pensioner who is not on our nominal roll right now?
All this category, what you have to do, you will also attend our verification. But it is important you go to your agency where you retired or where you worked to get a letter of introduction to come with at our verification center. That is if you are not on our payroll or nominal roll submitted by the agency where you worked.
May I ask Angela to please come forward? We'd like to give you our address to our pensioners, and so that you'll also see one of our officers who is responsible for the ENUGU office. Our ENUGU office is in the Federal Secretariat Complex, Independence Layout, ENUGU. And we have a phone number here for the office. It's 081-384-08305. Can I call it again? The address is at the back of your folder. You can mark it instead of trying to rewrite it. But let me call it again. Okay, please raise your hands if you don't have a folder, the brochure. Okay, Abida, please, at the top. Lots of people don't have the brochure and the folders. They'll get to you, sir. So this is Angela Nwoye. She's our officer in ENUGU, and she'll take very good care of our pensioners here in ENUGU. Please, let's appreciate her, because the work ahead is a lot. Yes, and she's also responsible for mobile verification, as the executive secretary had mentioned. No, the number is on the back of this folder, please. And anybody that does not have a folder will be given right now. Angela, do you want to say something quickly?
And please let me also add, though. She is married, though. Those of you looking. Oh my God. You know, by the time you collect arrears now, you look for number 2. She is married, though. Recently married.
Married to us.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, daddies and mommy. Ibo Queen. Okay, my name is Angela Nweye. I was transferred from Abuja to ENUGU to come and take care of mommies and daddies. I'm in charge of mobile verification. Any sick pensioners, just come to our office in Federal Secretariat. Apply for mobile verification, the contact address, doctor report, and daddy's picture. Whatever the person is, we'll go and verify and bring the complaint and send it to Abuja. They'll work on it and place the person on payroll. Yeah. Please, for those that I captured June, July, please excise patient. Excise patient, they will soon place you back on payroll for mobile. They're working on that now.
Thank you. A round of applause for her. See, she's very shy. She's using everything she has to step. Before we continue, please, I want our resident federal auditor to take a minute to just tell us about how Ptad ensures there's transparency and accountability in the computation of your pensions. Many people are complaining of short payments or fraud on their monthly pensions. Please, let's listen to him so that he can give us some information. Mr. Jafar Ishaku, a federal officer, a federal auditor, Ptad.
The Executive Secretary, our most distinguished senior citizens of Nigeria, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I will be very brief and first and foremost, you know, in every community, in every family, there used to be a black sheep. And the issue of fraud is a very serious issue in this country, and it's not only in one organization. In banks, I'm sure most of you must have been receiving alerts that your ATM cards have been deactivated or so. It is common, and I'm not surprised that we also found one of our staff, just like the Executive Secretary has said, he has been involved in defrauding some pensioners, and as at now, he is under investigation and the law is taking its course. And that issue is an individual issue. It is not an issue that should be taken as if it is the Auditor General for the Federation that perpetrates of fraud. So it is an individual crime, and he is to face the wrath of the law on his own, and the law is taking its own course. As far as computation issues is concerned, I'm very sure most of you must have seen the achievement that Ptad have been making, the number of pensioners that have been put on payroll, that have been paid. All these pensioners have to pass through the federal audit before they have been paid. So we do the computation because the financial regulation is very clear. Section 109G has given the Auditor General for the Federation the power to carry out pre-audit and post-audit of pensions and gratuities of military and civilian personnel. That is why no pensioner can be paid without the certification of the federal audit. And in terms of fraud, also, when I came on board on Ptad, the message was very clear. I saw it in the eyes of the Executive Secretary. Zero tolerance to corruption. The financial regulation 112, subsection B, has given the accounting officer the responsibility to ensure management control and minimize fraud and waste. What the law is saying, minimize. But I'm telling you, Ptad has moved beyond that law. It's zero tolerance to corruption. Not minimize. Zero, eliminate completely. A round of applause to the Executive Secretary for that. Therefore, I want to assure you that as at now, the only files with us in the federal audit are those among the 24,000 that came for their verification, about 500, which I believe as at the end of today, we will finish working on that and pass them for approval and payment. So we don't delay files any longer. We make sure we follow the lead. She has shown it to us. I am telling you from the bottom of my heart, I have never worked with an officer that is so diligent, dedicated, passionate, and at the same time, corrupt-free. I'm still telling you, I'm a certified forensic auditor. I have worked on her account to the bottom of my knowledge. She is clear and free. Therefore, we will continue to support her and continue to work on all your files with diligence, due care, professionalism, transparency, integrity, and accountability.
Thank you, Mr. Jafar. Thank you. We have Chief Edwin Ugwu Napo on stage, Chief PC Okolo, UNN, then Comrade Obi Uyanne from Railway says, thank you. Just please hold on. You still present your questions. I have a lot of questions here. NITEL. In fact, I think NITEL is the largest group that has questions. The presentation was clear, but the questions here still are on verification. Those that were disengaged, 33%. The questions are numerous. Mr. Jibrin will again summarize. It's just one statement, just so that you're satisfied that NITEL is on our table. Mr. Jibrin, after NITEL, there's a question from Ozubo Francisca, which says that if you have registered with National Insurance Scheme under a personal arrangement, what will you do to go under Ptad? Francisca Ozubo. Is the question clear? Is Madam Francisca here? Yes, ma'am.
The issue of National Health Insurance Scheme in Ptad is still ongoing. So for now, I advise Madam to continue her individual plan. Pending the conclusion of this, then it will be addressed.
Okay. Then NITEL will summarize.
Then NITEL, my ES has said you are going to come on payroll. That means you start receiving your monthly pension at the end of this month. And I want to assure you that all harmonizations, including the 3% that you are entitled to, have been taken care of and incorporated. Thank you.
Idris, what's the figure? 14,000, the figure of those on the payroll that has been approved and signed is for you to start uploading by the 25th of October once money is released to us, and the number of NOKs. Then please also emphasize the issue of the correct letters of administration and not customary court letters of administrations for NOKs.
Okay.
To receive. Then those that do not qualify as well, please make it clear that Ptad will write them individually, notifying them that they do not qualify, so that we do not raise hopes unnecessarily.
Yes, ma'am. All next of kins that have any claim are expected to produce a letter of administration from the High Court of Justice. Please, it is important you must obtain your letter of administration from a High Court of Justice, not any other court. Computation has been concluded. It has gone, federal auditors have reviewed about 9,618 of NITEL pensioners, amounting to over 620 million. Thereabout. I don't have the exact figures now, But this has been approved that payments will commence at the end of this month. For the NO case, as I'm talking to you, computation is ongoing, and the figures are still being established for me to give you a total figure.
Thank you. Just wait, please. Okay, sir. Comrade Obi Uyane, I'm so sorry about the pronunciation of your name. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Great pensioners. Great pensioners. Please, my question is about 111 pensioners in Eastern District, the retirees of NUP railway sector, those that retired 2005, that their names were removed from payroll by NRC management before handing over our documents to Ptad. These pensioners have been suffering since May 2008. 10 years now without payment. Please, I'm asking Ptad to assist them and return them into the payroll. The counterpart the issue was that when we retired, they were not paid their severance package. And most of us who retired then, who were not paid the same severance package, are still living in quarters in Port Harcourt, Kafanchan, and Bauchi, and are still being paid up to date by this group of pensioners in ENUGU are not in payroll and are not receiving their pension. The families are suffering. I want Ptad to assist us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Directorate has engaged the management of Railway Corporation and this group of pensioners. And it was revealed that there is a court matter, there is a court case. And at that interaction, it was resolved that the two groups should go and settle outside of court and revert to Ptad. To my knowledge, since that interaction, Ptad, the Directorate, we are yet to receive any update on that. So my suggestion, if the matter has been resolved out of court, then please, you can now, I suggest you make a formal submission to the Directorate so that we can now look into it.
Thank you. The matter has been resolved, so to say, because the case was won by the retirees in the National Industrial Court.
Is there any woman that is left?
Make a submission.
So my submission is that
make a submission on that to the Directorate.
The Directorate, I think they should go ahead.
No, we are not aware of this. You have to inform us.
Okay. We are to go to the management and get the...
Formally, yeah. Formally inform us.
Okay. Then the other issue is...
That's why I'm saying read out those questions. That's why they're being edgy.
The names of those removed from payroll, we are asking Ptad to assist us so that their complaint section will always be involved in this type of forum, so that those people that were not paid their monthly pensions, their case will be treated here and now.
I think that's been done. We have a table out there that, even those sitting here, there's from the files you were given, there's a complaint form in, so you could submit your complaint. That's been done. But it's not restricted to the hall. Even those who are unable to come to this forum can still submit their complaints in any of our state offices or in Abuja. I assure you it will be treated.
That's why I asked her, I said, who computed it?
Thank you very much. The Executive Secretary and her team, great pensioners. Great pensioners. My question is based on what the ES said here and what I read in the print media. The ES said that I finished the 33% of the police, the military, the immigration and customs. Forgetting the whom I call the breadwinner of the 33%. If you recall, the 33% salary increase came from the ASU strike of 2009, and 53.7% was awarded a salary increase to the university sector. And we pensioners pushed. As we pushed, government set up an inter-ministerial committee which reduced the 53.7% to 33% and awarded 1% as minimum wage. Now, the 33% is being paid in bits and pieces. And the Ptad started paying off police, immigration, army, and customs, leaving the university sector, which is the main goat crier that brings food to its community. So we felt that it is a preferential treatment, that if at all that the 33% will be paid off, the university sector will be the first before they fought for the thing. Secondly, I read from the print media, many of you also do, that the federal government approved 22 billion naira to pay arrears of salaries and pensions in the federal service. We also hear and read from the print media that the federal government gives grants to states to pay off arrears of salaries and pensions. Isn't it so? Now, why does the same federal government prefers feeding other people's children instead of its own children?
Thank you, sir.
Let me finish.
Sir.
Let me finish, ma. We feel there is a kind of lack of charity in the whole dispensation. There is lack of charity. There is no love. Federal government treats the military and the police as special pensioners, and those in the university sector and others as endangered species.
Thank you, sir. You're all very special to us. Every pensioner is special. But we know the issues of security and the risk they have to take as well. Please bear in mind that the monthly payroll for Ptad, for the 4 operation departments, is close to 9.5 billion naira, not million, billion naira monthly. That is the payment federal government makes every month, whether there is money or no money. And you can all attest that the federal government under this administration has not owed 1 month's pension. They have always paid pension. 9.5 billion monthly payroll. This is the essence of Nigeria going into the contributory pension scheme. Ptad is wholly treasury funded. No employer, no employee contributes a penny. It's only federal government that brings in this money. So as the monies are being released to us, we pay. The universities, we will pay their arrears. When we paid the 6 months balance 6 months arrears last November, we did not miss out the university. we will pay their arrears. But when it comes to security agencies, let us give them their due priority. I crave your indulgence on that. As we all sit here, who is guarding us out there is the police and paramilitary. Thank you.
Thank you, yes.
But without the universities, I wouldn't be here speaking English. Great Uniben, that was where I went to.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. All these issues will be addressed. That is why I'm so happy with this interactive session.
Yes, ma'am.
We hear your complaints. It's better spoken than in letter. Reading a letter is too cold. I'm glad to hear from you directly, your anxieties, and I hope that at the end of the day, you'll have a better understanding of Ptad, and we will also have a better understanding of your issues.
Thank you, yes. A round of applause for her. I have some more questions here from the pensioners. Mr. Jibrin Idris of Parastatals Department will take them. This is from Mwankwo Chukuma, NITEL. He says, we've done verification last February, and since then, no news of when they'll be paid. And also, when will the arrears of pensions be paid? I'll take that.
For NITEL, all eligible and qualified NITEL pensioners will start receiving monthly pension at the end of this month. Those who are not qualified or eligible will be formally informed. For now, arrears will wait. As soon as funds are received for this purpose, the arrears will also begin to be paid.
Our priority is to make sure you are on government's monthly payroll. A bird in hand is worth 3 in the bush. So that is why we prioritize the verification of the privatized agencies who had not been on payroll for years. I talked of Delta Steel, 13 years. Okay, Nigeria Airways, how many years? So let's get you on monthly payroll first and be paying. That's why we're insisting we'll start paying NITEL end of October till December, and we'll continue in January. When government releases money, we will pay the arrears. Jibril, what is the total amount for arrears of NITEL? How many billion is that? Can you remember if you're not in the accounts department? Can you? Yeah, it runs into billions. I've said our monthly pension payroll every month is 9.5 billion. Is what we pay monthly alone, not to talk of arrears. So as government is releasing money, these arrears are being paid. And also be aware that government has set up an interministerial committee on pension liabilities. Government is aware of all the pension liabilities, all the outstanding pension arrears. PENCOM is a member of that committee. So is the Debt Management Office. The Minister of Finance is the chairman of that committee. We have looked at all the liabilities, verified them, and government is looking for ways to fund it to make sure all these pension arrears are cleared. But definitely this October, when we make a promise in Ptad, we keep it. This October, NITEL pensioners will hear the melody on their phones through phone alerts.
Thank you, ES. Great pensioners. There has been a lot of good news today. Great pensioners. While Mr. Jibrin is still here, NITEL pensioners are asking what of the contract staff and what of those who are disengaged at different periods? Are they supposed to be on Ptad's payroll? What is their fate?
For all contract staff and those who are disengaged, if they have served the eligible period and depending on when they exited, either 10 years or 15 years, they will be on our payroll. The contract staff, if you recall, at a point, all of you were made permanent, or some of you went to court and got a court judgment, all of you will be on the payroll.
Even those who were on contract for just a year or two?
You have to be, as I've said, you have to be eligible and you have to have served the minimum period. If you serve for just a year or two, and the company was privatized, or rather was taken over, you will not be eligible. But if you've worked the minimum number of years, 10 years, as of 2006, 2007, then you will be eligible.
What of those who are disengaged the first, I forget the dates, the year, and then brought back in by the new management and disengaged? How do we treat them?
No, the period after the privatization is not under the defined benefit scheme. That would be contributory pension.
Thank you. I have another question. Why is it taking Ptad so long to verify documents? What is the issue?
After verification, we have to come back, sort, then calculate. It has to go through internal audit, go through federal audit, then now get the necessary approvals, then funding before payment is made. This is the process. So that's why it takes time before you are put on payroll after verification.
I've noted that a number of pensioners are stating 6 years, 8 months as the number of years arrears that they have not been paid under NITEL. Engineer S.I. Onwu Ama of NITEL is still asking this question. But I think they need to know, is it only 6 years, 8 months, or are there varying degrees of arrears, or is this just what we have?
The documents you submit and the periods that you serve will determine what your arrears will be. Date of entry and date of exit, no more, no less. So it cannot be a static period for every pensioner. The date you entered and the date you exited, that's the period that will determine what your arrears will be.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jibrin. Mr. Victor Okechukwu Njote, the Executive Secretary had already announced that NITEL pensioners will be put on the payroll very soon. Mr. John Aneke, he says that we did not mention anything about the 33% arrears for NITEL pensioners. What is the way forward with this? Is it during verification, or are we already paying it?
As I've said, all harmonization, including 33%, have been taken care of in our computation of NITEL benefits. So whatever you will receive at the end of this month includes 33%. Thank you.
Thank you. Another question from His Royal Highness Igwe Christopher Ogbodo Nnamani. Is housing refund included in the expected payment? This is NITEL still.
This is not within the purview of Ptad. We pay pension. And I showed you what constitutes your pension. So housing refund, perhaps you are talking about National Housing Fund. That one you refer to, I suggest you go to the Federal Mortgage Bank. Thank you.
This is a rather technical question, Mr. Jibrin, so please just listen. It's from Oji Aloysius. He says that, what of NITEL staff who have served for 10, 20 or more years? They were disengaged or retired, then later reabsorbed by NITEL. Worked for another 3 years, but they were put into PENCOM.
The Pension Reform Act determines where you belong. If you worked continuously beyond 2006, 2007, then you should be a contributory pensioner.
You can give
That's June, yeah, that's June, right? Sorry? No, my understanding is that you continued from former NITEL, When the new owners came, you continued. So if you continued, you continue beyond 2007, then you are supposed you'll be a contributory pensioner.
The cutoff date for pensioners, sir, is that your question? Sir, raising your hand, was that your question? The cutoff date for pensioners who fall under Ptad is 30th of June 2007. So if you retired on the 1st of July 2007, coming forward, you fall under the contributory scheme. Sir, is that your question? Yes, sir, if you can speak louder. Go this way.
Sorry. NITEL was closed down 2006, and most of us were paid to the extent of up to 3.5 years pension payout. And later in 2010, it was rounded up to 5 years. By the time we were leaving NITEL in 2006, my own humble self have put into service 26 good years. And in pension fund contribution we are now. Nothing about 2006 is into it. Are you suggesting we are going to forfeit the 26 years I put in service? That is my question.
Thank you, sir. Your name, sir, please.
Fidelis Sondenborg.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
If your exit date from NITEL is 2006, then you are our pensioner. And you have worked for 26 years, as you've said. So you are our pensioner, please.
Let me say it once again. In 2006, we were all paid off. We were all paid off. By 2006, I have served up to 26 years. Later, we were told to continue. And Transcorp engaged us. While we were working for Transcorp, we were into pension contribution. And not with disregard to 2006. I am saying that as of 2006, I have served up to 95% or 95% of my 35 years or 85%. Are you suggesting that 10,000 naira they are paying us through contributory pension will be whatever we have done after a long meritorious service in NITEL 2006?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Please, let's have the microphone. Have you answered his question?
Yeah. I think I still maintain my position. You are not forfeiting anything, sir. You are, because my understanding of the post-privatization era, it was a private arrangement. So we cannot say you will forfeit these periods that you served. So you are a DBS, that means Defined Benefit Scheme pensioner. You will be on our payroll, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jubrin. Please, let us, round of applause, if you will. Yes, please. Please, let us also note that during the forthcoming verification exercise, a lot of the complaints and issues we're having will be resolved as a result of that process. Recall also that we've given you your complaints questionnaires. They're with you. And immediately after the program, we'll attend to those complaints that you have. I'd like to also announce that as we proceed now, lunch will be shared. They're in takeaway packs for your convenience. So while they're sharing, we'll continue with the questions, and we'll soon be rounding up. We'll also take a few questions from the audience if your question has not been addressed here. But please, let us make this clarification. A complaint, please, on your personal pension issue, we can take it better at the complaints desk so that we can settle down, answer your questions appropriately, and ask you for the relevant documentation. Thank you. We have a question from Ogwe Cletus. He's from Unizik, Oka. Our branch, pensioners are short paid. Some have not been paid their gratuity, even though many of the pensioners are not here. What is the message of Ptad for them?
They can be assured that they will be paid. If there's any complaint submitted before now, I'm sure it's been looked at. Otherwise, when we verify them, we are going to compute their monthly pensions, and whatever is owed them will be identified, and as soon as funds are available, payment will be made. That's one of the essence of verification.
Okay. Why is it that when a pensioner's pension is stopped for years, and when that pensioner is put back onto the payroll to be paid, he will receive only a month's pension? Let me give Mr. Dogo the microphone to answer this question. This is from M.O. Chukwu. Why is it that when a pensioner has been off the payroll for years, when he is put back on, you give him only 1 month's pension without paying his arrears?
Yes, thank you very much. Peter's essence was to place first those who have not been on the payroll to the payroll so that they can start enjoying the monthly pension. And the arrears were worked out. They have the arrears, but if the arrears is so much, it depends on the availability of funds. So when funds comes, we start paying. As I said earlier, we are getting towards 10 billion OBO, which we are expecting money, and then they can be settled. So we don't just stop on the monthly pension. We work out with the arrears, and we just place the person on the payroll while the arrears is being waiting the release of funds. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let me invite Mrs. Apollonia Okeke. She's from the Customs, Immigrations and Prisons Pension Department to answer this question. It's from Oka Soanya Chigozie Daniel from the Nigerian Immigration Service. Please kindly address the fate of the downsized immigration officers who were affected in 2006-2007. We are hearing different versions in connection with our full payment. When do we expect our full payment?
Good afternoon, sirs. Good afternoon, mamas here. On behalf of Custom Immigration and Prison Pension Department, I want all the downsized immigration officers that their first date of retirement was 20th July 2006, and their gratuity was paid under HAPS, Harmonized Paramilitary Salary Structure. And it's good for them to know that when they retired, that they were not paid with compass, which has been the agitation. It was only prison officers and custom officers that were downsized that was paid by BPSR, that is Bureau of Public Service Reform, in conjunction with Office of Accountant General. And for downsized immigration officers, there was this agreement between them and federal government that they would be placed on compass, that is consolidated paramilitary salary structure, but they will forfeit the arrears from 2007 to December 2013. Dana made the first SIPO to place them on compass on January 2014. And for the issue of severance, which has been the issue, I want them to know that Ptad, as an institution, cannot pay them their harmonized, the gratuity that they are requesting for, except if only the Office of Accountant General and BPSR can give that order, because they were the ones that paid severance package to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have another question from Nwali Emmanuel. He's from prisons. Can I know the position of our personal servant allowance, which we have applied for. May I know the possible way Ptad is taking up the issue? And also, what is the fate of those in PENCOM programmed withdrawal? Is there any hope for them? I think that's for those who fall under contributory. But let her take the issue of servant allowance.
Thank you. Domestic servants, which was paid to officers on grade level 8, because there are those that are eligible for domestic servants. For your pension payments, I want them to know that it has already formed part of your total emolument. Once you're from grade level 8 to grade level 16, it's already part of your monthly pension. For those that are on grade level 17, which are the consolidated officers, it has already formed part, but there are still some other allowances that the Office of National Salary, Income and Wages Commission have added to their salaries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Okeke. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have on the stage Chief Edwin ENUGU. You've made your questions, sir. Chief P.C. Okolo, we thank you. You may step down now. Sir, I forgot your name. Mr. Edwin ENUGU, sorry, just has a comment because all his questions have been answered. Sir, please just keep it brief to 1 minute. We appreciate it.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chief Edwin ENUGU. I am the chairman, NAPO, ENUGU State Chapter. Some of you, I appreciate Ptad, at least for the payment of 33%. That made me richer.
He said for the payment of 33% arrears, it made him richer. Please, round of applause for Ptad.
The question I'm asking, the essence of verification is to correct errors. But since after the last verification here in ENUGU, we'll be having problems. I have written letters, and seeing our age, you don't expect me to scamper from ENUGU to Abuja. Your office here is not helping matters. Unless now you said you are sending somebody.
Sending Angela,
yes, who has ability.
Yes, sir. And so, empathy and care.
So what we are saying is that this short payment is penny. When your colleague is taking 20,000 and you are taking 15,000, it's very painful.
Sorry, sir. Please, this is a new Ptad. Ptad of the past is gone. This is a new Ptad. We have set standards. I made it clear in my opening remarks when I said people that had been verified in the Southeast in 2015, as at the end of 2016, they had not even been paid. So the short payments you're experiencing are probably part of the errors during that last verification. Right now, Ptad's verification is very thorough. So please write in and we will clear these your complaints. And with the ENUGU office and having Angela Nwoye, one of our very good, dedicated and passionate staff heading the ENUGU office. ENUGU office will be turned around, just like we turned around the Lagos office. You call your fellow pensioners in Lagos, they will tell you of what is happening in the Lagos office. ENUGU is the next in line to be like the Lagos and Abuja office. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I'm consoled by that statement.
Praise the Lord. We have a special question, ma.
Help him down.
Excuse me. Hello. Please help him down the steps. Let her help you down. This is an important question. And during her opening statement, the Executive Secretary mentioned fraud and that how we're tackling fraud in Ptad. We have a dedicated unit for dealing with fraud cases. We have a lot of pensioners who call him daily, complaining that someone has called them asking for money to process their complaints. Ptad does not ask for money, not even for processing, not even to get the complaint form. Ptad will never ask you for money. We are wholly funded by the government, and all of our funding comes from there. Before I ask our federal auditor to come up and answer this particular question, I would just like you to note that anyone who calls you and asks for even as little as 2,500 naira facility, they call it facility fee. That's what these pension scammers call it. Please tell him no. Ptad will never ask me for money to process my complaints. So, Mr. Jafaru, please come up and answer this.
In addition,
okay. Let me ask the question and then you can conclude. Okay. This question is from the NUP chairman, Anambra State. It says some people collect money from Anambra State pensioners, upwards of 10,000 naira and above, to help them get their pension benefits. They said they are working for Ptad. Surprisingly, after a short time, some of such people get their pensions and claim that he is working for Ptad. Good enough, they provided a name. One Mr. Patrick Obanye, a pensioner. Obanye, sorry. Obanye. Oh, is Mr. Patrick Obanye the person who wrote this? Okay, so the fraudster provided a name saying that he's Mr. Patrick Obanye from Anambra State Civil Service.
Oh.
No, most of these questions are answered.
We are sorry that this kind of a thing is getting rampant in this nation. And as you can see in that flyer in your package, that Ptad does not tolerate all these kind of activities. Let me tell you what happened to me just of recent. Somebody called me. I'm surprised how the person got my number. He said that he mentioned my name really, that he has an issue of pension, that he came to Ptad and they said he has to get a letter of introduction from the organization that his uncle has served, that he cannot go to that place, that he wants a shortcut. I said, a shortcut? I mean, who are you? He said that he is a friend to one of the directors in Ptad. He mentioned his name, that he wants to see me. Where are we going to meet so that I can help him to? I told him, I said, what Ptad asks you to do is the policy. It's a policy. Go and bring that letter of introduction. And if you cannot help me, then I will go to that director. He mentioned the same director that he will go and meet him so that he can help me. I say, if you go and meet him, it's the same story I'm going to tell you. Ptad staff are staff of integrity. You know what he told me? He said, he mentioned something, I don't know, he said, you. And I was saying, oh, thank you. I was saying, God bless you, thank you. And I came back to ask one of my staff, what is the meaning of you? And me, I'm saying thank you. Please. I don't know what he means by that. Honestly, my staff didn't tell me what's the meaning of you. All he says is that, yes, the man said thank you. I said so. So that issue is a general problem in this country. Fraudsters are everywhere. And I'm going to assure you that Ptad does not request for a kobo from anybody. I'm assuring you that nobody will ask you for a kobo. It is people without heart, heartless people. We demand money from the senior citizens of this nation. People who have served this nation for 35 years. And a small boy who have just finished secondary school will go and concoct a story. Maybe, you know, the way some of these people operate. You know, in Ptad, we are all Nigerians. And we are representatives of various families. Somebody can decide to call a staff in Ptad and ask him, please, how far about my uncle's issue? And maybe the person that is working there in Ptad may tell him, okay, that it's very soon you will get your payment. By the so date, you will get the payment. Maybe based on trust. And the other person may inform another person. And from there, maybe the fraudster got the information that so person might get so information. Before you know it, he will use intelligence. It's an intelligent matter. Before you know it, he starts scheming way on how to defraud some of the people who he know they have challenges on that pension issue. And when it comes to payment, it will now coincide with his own statement. And before you know it, you might be thinking that maybe somebody somewhere is doing some magic. No, it is coincidence. And that is why in my earlier speech I mentioned about banks. Even banks, insurance companies are facing similar problem. The only advice we are going to give all of you and all of us is that you should not listen or give money to anybody as far as pension matters is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Jafaru. In your program packs, we have this flyer that we've put in there. Beware of pension fraudsters. At the bottom, there's a line for fraud. If anyone has called you, you can call this number and report the fraud. Mr. Ozani Boniface Odo, you are saying that somebody has been calling you from Abuja and is demanding a ransom. You've heard what Mr. Jafaru has said. There's nobody from Ptad that will call you and ask you for money. Please do not pay them money. After the event, you can meet with us outside and we can get the details on this. I have a final question here, and it's from Ode Nicholas Cletus Ogwejofo, Ministry of Youth and Sports. I am a retired ENUGU State PAMSEC, and I've been receiving, he has quoted his amount here, per month from 1st of May 2018. My federal government share of the pension went down by a small amount without any reason. I am properly verified. I am alive. Please, what is the problem? Please pay me properly. Mr. Dogo, please come up. He's also saying that his niece, Ms. Georgina Ode, who he made her next of kin, she worked in the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Abuja. Okay, let's take the question one at a time. Yes.
Thank you very much. With state with federal share, the computation of pension, monthly pension, is independent of the sheet. That is a computation sheet submitted. And that computation sheet is prepared by the state and audited by the Auditor General. So our own how we arrive at your own monthly pension is based on the figures in the computation sheet. So if there is a drop, it could be problem is from that computation sheet. So we advise you, maybe we'll take your complaints and still check and see what is the issue, why it dropped. But I'm sure it is based on what is on the computation sheet that we arrive at the new monthly pension. Thank you.
One more question. Great pensioners. Great pensioners. I think we've done justice today to the questions. If we have a round of applause, let's know how well we are taking the questions. Yes, sir.
Please, great pensioners, I am asking this question because I don't know the kind of computation you'll be doing to drop me from 47,000 naira federal share to 930 naira per month. Please tell us.
Right, that's why I say that we have to look at the computation sheet. So their own issue will be sorted out. Let's know. Because
I have now done 5 months without my regular pension.
That is why I said we need to review your file to see whether there was an error or it is correct, because the computation of the monthly pension is independent of the this computation sheet, which is being signed by the Auditor General. So if it's that amount, we just pick the total.
Continue.
All right. So,
Dogo, could there have been a case of overpayment at a certain time? Because this drop is huge.
Yes.
If it's me, it would alarm me. From 47,000 to 900?
Sir,
There has to be a better explanation.
That is what I said. We have to look at his own case, then to know what the reasons.
Today is Monday.
Yes.
Get his name and his account details.
All right.
And you send it by text to the headquarters in Abuja and let somebody check it and give him an answer.
All right, ma'am.
This is the age of technology. So get his details, send to your accounts people in CSPD.
All right.
Let them know why the discrepancy so they can give him a correct answer, please.
Okay.
No hypothesis. So, I know.
It's okay. The other question, we'll leave this.
Let me just clarify.
Okay.
So please, I think lunch is served.
Want
Any
to-
other person who has any other serious questions?
I wanted to
We have a complaint desk. Very soon we are going to get this place rowdy. So Dogo,
I wanted to clarify, there were questions they asked through Mrs. Olive.
the PAMSEX one,
No, it's on the...
send someone to it now, get his information.
No, it is on the payment of gratuity for those who retire on or before 1st June 2002.
Go ahead, give clarification on that.
For state pensioners with federal share who retire on or before before 1st June 2002. At that period, the states were paying their pensions and gratuity, and they will seek reimbursement from the federal government. After 1st June, that is from 1st June 2002, federal government took direct payment of their pensions and gratuity. So if you have any problem or any complaint regarding your pension or gratuity period to when federal government took over, it will be from the states you complain to. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dogo. Please, if there's, as I've mentioned before, we have our complaints form and we have a complaints desk that is outside. If there's anyone whose pensions have also been dropped so drastically, we will collect your names and we'll look deeper into the documents. Time is gone. We did not even break today at all. We did not have any breaks, and everybody here must be tired. And our union representatives, as well as our directors, I believe they've exhausted most of the general questions. Any personal complaints will be addressed outside immediately after this program. Right now, I'd like to call on Elder Atu Zach, please, to come and give the vote of thanks so that we can close the program. Please, where is he? Can he come up? A round of applause, please. Mr. Kaigama, Babagana Kaigama, will also appreciate the pensioners on behalf of Ptad.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Solidarity. On behalf of the national headquarters of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, we want to appreciate the federal government through Ptad for organizing this stakeholders forum meeting that afforded our members to come face to face with the office of Ptad and ask burning questions without stress. We are grateful and we want to really say well done, the ES, for doing this, and on behalf of the pensioners, we say thank you. And please, we would like to emphasize that the promise made here, let it be done as promised. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, sir. That's Elder Actor Zal, General Secretary of the NUP. Please, let's appreciate him. Thank you, sir. Are we satisfied and happy with what we did today? If we're happy, can we put our hands together for Ptad, please? And we thank you all and appreciate you for staying till the end of it. We will do just one more thing. We'll do the vote of thanks. And this will be done by the Director of Corporate Services and former Director of Police Pensions Department, Babagana Kaigama. Please put your hands together for him.
Great pensioners, today's stakeholders forum theme is putting pensioners first. And the objective is, as my executive secretary said, is for us to come together, sit and see one-on-one, and then get your complaints, issues, and then resolve the ones we can resolve here, and then take whatever happens here back to Abuja to resolve those complaints. I have been in the pension industry for like 8 years. The narrative in pension administration under the executive secretary has completely changed. If she says, or if she tells you she's going to do this, be rest assured she will do it. All the issues you raised, all the complaints, all the concerns you raised, we've taken note. We'll go back and resolve them. Not only resolving them, when we resolve them, we will communicate to you so that you will be satisfied. While you are not satisfied, you can now write back, attaching whatever documents you need to attach. Having said that, on behalf of the Executive Secretary Sharon Ikeazo, management and staff of the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming, but let me acknowledge the presence of the representative of the Director General PENCOM, the representative of the Chief Commissioner, Public Complaints Commission, the representative of the National President of Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Chief Dr. Emeka, the President of AWAPO, all other invited distinguished pensioners, invited guests. I thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We were inspired by your presence. Let me also acknowledge the media team, both print and electronic, for giving us an excellent coverage. To my colleagues, the directors who made their presentation, and then the stakeholders planning committee. I think we should appreciate them because this is one of the best organized stakeholders forum we have this year. Please give them a round of applause. And I would also like to thank the caterers for giving us sumptuous meal this afternoon. Thank you once again, and I wish you all Safe journey back to your respective destinations. Thank you.
Well, I think we...
Please, may I crave your indulgence to say one statement. So that anya bani mani. Nworo kamadi no chalowa. Age weneta onye nkie. Owebu na today no onye nku no n'iru unu. Adanyi nwanya ya pụrụ ebe a na-ekpere elu ya special ekpere. Adanyi nwanya na ebe a mbọsọ ọ batala napụ onye nke ọzọ. Anyị na-ajụ onye bụ ike azụ. Anyị asụkwana ya ma Igbo. Ọ bụrụ Yoruba ba ya na-asụ Yoruba n'ebe a. Ọ bụrụ Hausa ba ya na-asụ ya. Ebe ọ bụ na ọ bụ ada anyị. Biko ana m akpọ Mr. Chukwumene onye Chineke jalụ mma ka ọ gbagote n'elu stage bịa ga-ekpere ada anyị nwa ekpere maka na ndị okenye a na-ebe a kperi ekpere nwa m ị ga na-aga n'iru. Ya bụ na aga m akpọ Chukwuma ene gbagote n'ebe a ogologo dị mkpa ka o welu asụsụ Igbo wee kpọkụ Chineke na be anyị okenye na-aga ọfọ ndị niile n'ebe a bụ okenye anyị aga nwaanyị ọfọ. Biko nụ mgbe ọ na-ekpe ya ma ekpere anyị ga na-ekwe ya dịkwa otu a n'ụwa maka na nwaanyị a ibe ọkọla anyị ebe a jụrụ anyị afọ. Nwere onye ọbụla na ebe a na-amara ibe ọkọ. Mr. Chukwumene gbagote ka ikpere ya ekpere. Yes.
Okay, I think Mr. Chukuma is being invited to come and just say a special prayer, both for the success of Ptad and for the Executive Secretary. More blessings, greater heights, and more achievements, sir.
Fellow pensioners, o nwere ajụjụ ajụrụ ebe a. Onye bụ nwaanyị a na-akpọ ike azọ. A ga-atakwa onye bụ ajụjụ aza. Azasịzi anya anyị ekperi ekpelu. Nya ka m ji wee sị ka m bịa nwa anwụ obere ịza anya bụ onye bụrụ onye a. Asịrị onye amarọ mmadụ na-akpọ ya nwata oke. Ịkpọka ihe nwata oke na-eje ebe ị na-eje. 1953 oge anyị ka bụ ụmụ akwụkwọ n'ofu ụlọ akwụkwọ dị n'Ọnịcha. O nwere ofu onye balụ University na-agụ law ya maka iwu. Ọ ka agụsịrọ ma ọ na-agụ ya oge a. Ọ masị ya ịbịa n'ebe anyị bụ ụmụazị na-agụ akwụkwọ oge a n'Ọnịcha. Ọbịa anyị na-ebiri na hostel. Ọ na-agụ akwụkwọ lọọ ya. Anyị jebe akwụkwọ na skuul. Ọnọdụ na dormitory anyị biribe anyị na-agụ nke lọọ. Anyị nata anyị na-agụ poetry, literature. O nwere mmasị n'ebe anyị bụ ụmụaka nọ. Ma anyị amarọ na ọ bụ onye ga-abụ emechaa taa ọ bụrụ nna onye anyị na-ekwu maka ya. Nke a bụ izizi nna afụ nwa nwoke a bụ barista ike azọ. Unu mara onye ọ bụ. Ona obu one word I get poko even now friendliness. If Kolebo Bido. Ona kweli watana Ptad the pensioner friendly. Onya ganzira agma akowa ebenya umilisi bido moba anyi ka we ma ebe anya kola arun. Onye ga-ekpezikwa ekpere anyị niile ga-ekperi ya ekpere ọ bụrụ ọta ka o bidoro ịfụ na anyị onwe ebe anyị nọ ọ bụrụ ọta ka o bidoro na nne ya wee na-akwa na as far back as 1953 there were
Please, let's put our hands together for our elder. He's not only a pensioner, but he's also a custodian of history. And he has shared with us a very, very interesting history, both of our ES and also family members. Thank you. And some of us has concurred. After now, we are going to set up probably a Ptad community meeting where we can be meeting at that level and breaking kola nut. But let's thank you very much. We'll go ahead now and take the prayer and move on. Thank you.
Praise the living God. Biko, I get better. To buy a quick better on our bone choke, I bore. Can't charge con with better. Your watch who or your kerowa. Could do a die one and do. Oga Lola Lokanka. Oga Lutola Lutezibafa. Oga Lutola Chukwa Goze Zununia. Oga Mera Mpine, Yeni and Agoga Choptara, yeah, okay, Nando, now Jesus. Aine kelegi chinekena, ide bube oye nemema. Aka nechendumo ide bube babana. Aine kelegi chikerowa, odogu nemema. Oyuku nechendumo ide bube babana. Aine kelegi odogu kerowa. Odogu nazondua Chuku nemema idebube papanare kelanyo. Ayekbe na Jesus Christ. Ayekbe na Jesus Christ. Ezonye nwanyị na Chukwu pụrụ ime ihe niile. Anyị na-ekele n'isi ndị pensioners na Nigeria zukọtara ọnụ na ngwuru a Chineke. Anyị na-ekele Chukwu niile ọgụ aji ndụ jide ọnwụ. Anyị na-ekele Chineke na-agbaghị isi ike niile, na-agbaghị akwụ ụgwọ niile iyere anyị ndụ. Dadị ọ bụ maka mmadụ ibe anyị gasị anyị nwụọ n'ike mana idoro anyị ndụ ruo taa. Anyị ese narị ekele n'aha Jizọs Kraịst. Jehova dị mma, anyị esikọtara ebe a Chineke n'iru mama anyị bụ ada anyị nwanyị. Anyị akọrọ mkpa Chukwu, ya akọkwa ka o si alụ nke ya. Anyị ma na agaghị emewu ihe a n'ike aka Chineke ma Jehova asị gbata n'ike na ebe gbagba ume n'aha Jizọs Kraịst. Anyị bụ ndị Naịjirịa tara obodo anyị afụfụ. Dadịde ma isi rụọ ya rie Chineke. Anyị na-ayọkwa Chineke nna ka anyị dị ndụ rie oke anyị n'aha Jizọs Kraịst. Anyị agaghị awụchu Chukwu. Dadị mma ọgwụ aji ndụ a Chineke jirikwa anyị n'isi. Ekwere ka anyị nwụọ ike Chineke. Dadị dị ma ndị tara afụfụ a ha ga-eri oku ụmụ ha n'aha Jizọs Kraịst. Ha ga-eri oku ụmụ ha n'aha Jizọs Kraịst. Anyị na-ayọ Jehova dị mma na-eme mma. Onye wepụtara ada anyị nwaanyị a ka ọ gbahaziri anyị ọnọdụ. Bakwa chede ya na ndụ. Chedekwa na amamihe. Wezugara ajọ mmụọ, wezugara ajọ mmadụ. Wezugara ndị mgbe okpuru Chineke. Wezugara ndị nranye, ndị nrafu. Mama ya ga-arụ ọrụ, ọ ga-arụkọ ọrụ nka Chineke. Baba ị ga-echi eze kacha eze. N'ihi na ọ gbatara enyemaka ihe ụzọ ndị pensionia ndị a meriri emegbu Chineke. Na-edi ndị okorobịa na ebe a Chineke akwụrụ ụgwọ wa arụ na arụ eto arụ na-abụ. Onye idoro ya ndụ Chineke ọ bụghị ike aka Chukwu. Ọ naanị ebere gị. Jehova sị rụkwa gaa n'iru n'aha Jizọs Kraịst.
dịka azụkọta n'ezunu ngwuru a Chineke tọsọọ mkpa anyị mama anyị a Chineke Jehova ị ga-arụ anyị ka anyị keta oke anyị n'aha Jizọs Kraịst ihe ọma anyị niile Chineke eji anyị Chukwu mekwe ka o ruo anyị aka onye ọla ebube n'ihi uche mme uche mmadụ emela baba na ya Chukwu nekwe ndị agadi a nọ n'iru anyị Chineke wụrụ ogologo ndụ ji aha ma Chukwu ekwele ka akụ akụkụ a ego a na-abịa ọ ga-abịa a ga-eri ya na ndụ a ga-eri ya n'ọnwụ n'aha Jizọs Kraịst ụmụ nwaanyị ebe onye na-eme isi onye rụọ ya rie ọtụtụ azụ ụmụaka taa afọ gba ọtọ a na-asịda dị biko jakwu ụmụ anyị niile mma n'aha Jizọs Kraịst jakwu ụmụ anyị niile mma n'aha Jizọs Kraịst ihe mmetụ aka ha niile ọ pụrụ na mbata Chineke gọziekwa n'otu n'otu n'aha Jizọs Kraịst wefuru anyị ọnwụ ike wefuru anyị nsogbu wefuru anyị ọgbaghara ya anyị udo chịọ n'obodo anyị ihe ọma ga-emere anyị Chineke gbaghata mere anyị ihe ọma n'aha Jizọs Kraịst anyị ekele ụmụnne anyị Chineke ebe o si bịa Chukwu ga-edu unu laa n'udo n'ọnwụ ndị ahụ adụọ n'etiti Chineke Chukwu na-agwọ ya chiji ndụ gwọọ ha anya ka wero ha n'aha Jizọs Kraịst ndị nwee nsogbu dị iche iche Chineke ịbụ Chukwu ị pụrụ ime ihe niile Chineke bakwaza ụmụnne anyị ekpere a Chukwu bakwa na-ekota anyị Chineke ọ gidoro anyị ndụ ọ bụghị ha na-akwa ya ka anyị ji dị ndụ fọdụ mgbe na-akwụ 3,000 4,000 onye ji adị ndụ ma jụọ agụ oji ndụ jisikwa ike Chineke anyị agaghị awọwa ike ihe ọma ga-emere anyị n'aha Jizọs Kraịst ama ya ụmụnne ya ndị si Abuja gbadata Chukwu bikọrọ anyị akọ ka ọnọdụ si dị Chineke papa dukwu ala n'udo na-enwe nsogbu ọbụla n'aha Jizọs Kraịst papa biko atụmatụ ị na-atụpụtajego nkwa niile ha kwere anyị Chineke ka ọ bụ ha ga-emezu na ndụ n'aha Jizọs Kraịst a na-akwa ndị okenye si ebe dị iche wee bịa Chineke ịbịa ọgbakọ a Chineke ịbịa akọwa ka o si ihe ha nsogbu mgbe anyị ga-ala n'udo n'aha Jizọs Kraịst nara ekele Chukwu dị mma nara otuto n'ịbụ okwu eme ịbụ akpa aza ịbụ chi ụmụ ogbenye n'ihi na ọ bụrụ gị ọtụtụ aka ngwụ ebe a ma anyị sị anyị ga-adị rụfụta Chineke anyị ka ga-afụkwa echi n'aha Jizọs Kraịst nara ekele Chukwu dị mma ịbụ odogwu nara ekele gịnị ka a ga-akwa kelechie gị gịnị ka ihe a ga-enye karị akarị ị na-emere anyị ebuka Chukwu a sị nara ekele ụbọchị keta Chineke afọ ejuwa otu n'ime anyị Chineke anyị anụgo otu nkwa ekwochigoro anyị nkwa ndụ Chineke ọ ga-abịa na mmezu n'aha Jizọs papa biko nara ekele ụbọchị keta Chukwu ma anyị ma gọzie anyị Chineke mere anyị bụ n'obi wezụga ahụ ike ndị agaghị ahụ Chineke ihe ọma na-abịa n'obodo a ga-eru anyị n'aka n'aha Jizọs nara ekele onye okike anyị ekele mama anyị ị ga-eje n'udo mama anyị Chukwu ga-agọzi gị mama anyị ihe mmetụ aka ga-abụ ngọzi Chineke dị gị lote ndị okenye a dị gị lote ndị agadi nwoke na adịghị nwaanyị a Chineke na-emere ha ebere Jehova ga-emere ha ebere n'aha Jizọs Kraịst Jehova ga-emere ụmụ ha ebere n'aha Jizọs ga-eme unu niile ebere n'aha Jizọs Kraịst papa na-ayọ Chukwu ya anyị ndụ gọzie anyị Chukwu doo anyị laa n'udo n'ọnwụ biko anyị na-ekpe n'aha Jizọs Kraịst bụ onye nwe anyị. Praise the living God.
Thank you very much. I think we'll just officially stand as we take the national anthem to formally wrap this up. We'll be taking the national anthem as the technical team will lead us and we will sing along. If you can, be on your feet as we honor Nigeria once again with the national anthem. I think for those who can sing, it's actually on page 1 of your book. If you can sing, we can sing along. After 3, 1, 2, go. Thank you very much. God bless you and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Please, you can remain seated, take your lunch. If you want to go with it, fine. But thank you very much for coming once again, and enjoy yourself. And continue to rely on us to provide the best of services for you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Hello. Just pass to Madam. She wants to announce.
Send me text. I don't everybody, man,
I will run, I will climb, I will soar.
Biko ụmụnwaanyị ibe m onwe ife enyelu unu nne m tolo ọgbọ so eweta m ife anyị ji wee melia ite ọgbọ ka enye ụmụnwaanyị niile nọ ebe ahụ biko ndị mbiliachi ụmụ nwoke si m nọ dị pachal ndị nne m ama.
Thank you very much. Madam, thank you. Thank you.
The lady we should see here. She's Angela.